I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. I just jumped into the
Right.
the wrong room.
Where's Rhys? Rhys, no!
Rhys.
Does he know he has to become a speaker again? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Sorry, I went in the wrong room. Someone was playing some banging drum and bass. It was pretty cool.
All right. Thank you all for being here. And actually, maybe it would even be cool if Rhys could give a little introduction about themselves. That'd be great.
Sure. So my name is Rhys, Peace with Rhys on YouTube. I'm a vegan. I don't know if any of you are aware of that one. And I think everyone else should be vegan too. I'm not just vegan, I'm militant. I'm extreme about it. I'm hoping to get some of you on the plants tonight. Go subscribe to my channel. I think I'll end it there. Cheers.
I would not subscribe from my personal experience.
You are subscribed, mate. What are you chatting?
Am I? Let's go check.
I don't know. I'm guessing so.
Let's go check. Just so you're aware, if you're going to come on and talk, we're both streaming this on our channel. So, and it will be, recorded for the purposes of redistribution. So if you say any ding-dongery, then it could be on the internet forever. So please just consider that. Let's see. We've got one person who is non-vegan.
Meat is good.
Oh no, you didn't.
How old are you?
I don't know.
Don't know.
Well, I mean,
I'm not sure.
okay.
We can talk about the intricacies of morality with someone who doesn't know their own age. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, they're having a moment. That was... Oh, okay. Well, bless.
Well, I hope they feel better later. Yeah.
that sounded painful. So next person. Hello.
Vegan guy.
Ooh, your connection is choppy.
Oh, also, by the way, what would you like the description to be? Because currently the yellow is the description.
Yeah. Why aren't you vegan yet? Debate vegan YouTubers, I guess, would be a good one. Are you happy with that, Rhys?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay, not that I care really what you think, but yeah, that's like a cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
I just got a cheeky little super chat. I'll just point that out there. Got a cheeky little £1.49 come through from Edgar Scuckins. So I just want to say a little thank you there.
That is cheeky. That is very cheeky. So, Man of Honor, hello. You gonna chat to us? Oh, is your mic not working because you look like you're muting and unmuting and nothing's happening? We're not getting the green. Oh no.
If you want to play with that, Man of Honor, you can come back into the list. We can speak to you in a little bit.
Yeah. Well, sorry about that. Just let us know if you got it fixed. We got Black Wolf. Let's see if they want to chat to us.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Lovely meeting you guys. Yeah. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I've joined the server about a day ago, and I've got one question, and I've always asked, and I'm curious because everyone has a slightly different answer.
Sure.
Sorry if this is jumping too far into it. This is to do with biological engineering. So I'm sure you guys have seen with lab-grown meats and whatnot, and how they have from an egg embryo they're able to synthesize and create meat.
Right. Yeah.
So recently, Harvard is also looking into creating and breeding animals incubated. So the entire animal but without any brain activity. And do you think that's like moral, immoral? Sorry,
that is
let me rephrase
an interesting question.
Yeah, so it's a creature being bred in that captivity, doesn't have any sentience, it's got no thought process, it's virtually brain dead, but it's still... Yeah, so what are your thoughts on that?
I suppose the reason we're so against eating animals is because they're sentient, they feel pain.
Poop bum.
Sorry. I just had some speech come through from my YouTube. The vegan mooncat says poo bum, poo bum, poo bum, just so everyone knows there. Sorry, Black Wolf. yeah, so the reason we don't eat animals is because they're sentient, they feel pain. So if you can grow an animal that doesn't have those qualities,
Okay.
I'm struggling to think of any way that might be unethical.
I'm just gonna push this a little bit. If
Okay.
an animal was created in a way where it virtually could not feel any shape or form of any pain whatsoever, would that be still unethical? Well, I imagine it's still unethical, but more moral than an animal that could feel pain.
More moral, certainly. I'm not sure if it crosses the line into full morality. Like, that's an extremely good question there. Does the animal still feel any pain?
If it doesn't, if it's completely removed all receptor to feel pain, I would say no. If it could not feel any pain.
No pain, no sentience. As far as my mind goes, like that's what I value.
Okay.
I'd have to think of
can
that a little bit
understand.
more. That's a really interesting scenario you've brought up.
I asked this to two other vegans that I was chatting with, and yeah, they said the same thing. One, I think it was Cow Garden, come to us like the Matrix.
Yeah, I suppose it would be. Ellie, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, that'd be quite. I still have some concerns. I would. Where we are in technology now, especially, it makes me very skeptical of that scenario. Do you know what I mean? But
Understandably.
I would say a massive issue would still be kind of like the resource use that would be required in order to do that. Like it would be, because then you would start referring to, okay, well, how environmentally efficient is this? And we know that, you know, these billions of land animals who we breed into existence, they eat copious amounts of our resources. So that would be then when I'd be like, well, why can't we just consume the plant alternatives, and you know, weighing up the kind of devastation that we would cause to the environment that will, you know, have a negative impact typically on sentient beings. That's where I would start looking at.
Okay.
So yeah.
Rhys
So
points out, sorry,
Oh, no.
if we did the same thing to a human child, would we accept
Yeah.
that?
I just don't think we would. I wouldn't.
Oh, that's a lot to question there. In regards to with them creating artificial meat,
It would
are
be
you okay with
unethical
that?
to
Or if
create
it's
an animal in the
inefficient,
first place, much
would you
less without
prefer
sentience.
a method where we could still eat plants, but we also are able to create meat? Like, do you see them as the same, or would you still have a preference towards veganism, or just, sorry, not veganism, just eating plant-based foods? My apologies if I phrased that incorrectly.
No, nothing wrong with the phrasing. It's just quite a thinker. I do wonder. Trash Carcass in my chat here brings up it would be unethical to create an animal in the first place, much less without sentience. So there might be something unethical in literally bringing life into the world, whether they're sentient or not.
Yeah, when
It's-
I'm thinking of like breeding human babies who aren't sentient in order to like harvest them, I don't know if my discomfort is derived in an ethical issue or if it is derived in a kind of spiritual disgust. Or, you know, I can't really decipher
Pinpoint it,
between
It feels
those.
wrong on the
So,
surface, but it takes some thinking to figure out why you think that's wrong, I think.
there's probably something to be said that, like, to take away sentience from a being only to kind of use their resources.
I suppose this would be
I
a
dunno,
being that
just-
didn't have the sentience in the first place. Is that right?
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that would be like the Matrix, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
In regards to the Matrix, they do have sentience.
But they're not like they're not really but they're living a kind of existence, you know, outside of the one that, you know, is within.
Okay. Sorry, I
So
think I might have
you know,
misunderstood.
when Neo has his awakening and he goes to I forget that it's been a while since I've watched The Matrix, but yeah, great film. But yeah, when he realizes and he awakens, and that place is where technically the human babies and the animal babies would be, and I just, yeah.
So
My brain's saying no. My mind, my entire body is saying no.
If it was on a plate
I
for
understand
me,
you-
I would still go for the vegetables. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So if there was absolutely zero brain functioning, no dreaming, no lucidity, no subconscious, no conscious behavior, just absolute no brain activity at all, what would you think? Like it's
Again,
just growing it like you would grow a plant, but an animal, which sounds terrifying. I know.
I think you technically asked this a moment ago, and yeah, for me, I don't know.
I suppose to get into...
I can't derive between the two, whether it's just a disgust or if it's a genuine ethical conundrum.
Okay, thank you. I think that's beautifully answered my question. I will leave it
That's
there.
right.
I appreciate you coming on. That was a really interesting question.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. So next person, should I invite them on? Oh well. So by the way, lads, if you want to get a priority, you gotta get yourself verified. Otherwise, you're not going to get. It says verify as vegan. So I'll just hopefully
Okay.
these are some. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
how's it going?
Hello, hello.
All right.
Hello?
All right. Yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I do actually have. It's something. I do have a hypothesis that I've sort of been playing over in my mind. Let's say we're going to just use one example to try and keep the hypothesis to as simple as possible. But let's say if everybody in the world stopped eating beef and stopped drinking cow's milk, what would happen to the cow? In a sense of, would it become an invasive species? Would they then have to be kept in zoos, for example, just to, keep the species alive? Because if they, as far as business goes and landowners goes, if they don't provide any sort of monetary gain, it's next to useless for in a business sense. So where would the cow's place be in the world if everybody stopped eating beef and stopped drinking milk?
Okay. So are you worried about individual animals or the species going extinct in general?
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, obviously there's lamb, there's sheep, there's chickens, etc. But we're just going to use the cow as an example, just to keep it as simple as possible.
Okay.
Where would the cows be? Because if they were allowed to just propagate their species, they would eventually become invasive.
Yeah.
And let's say, for example, deers or coyotes in America, they do have to keep the population down, because if they don't, they sort of find that it damages the ecosystem where other animals start to lose numbers, so
Yeah, I
that's
get
why
you.
hunting season. So, I'm actually really looking for an answer here. Like, what would happen to the cow, the cow's place in the world? They wouldn't, as far as the business sort of side goes, they wouldn't, I'm not saying they wouldn't have a purpose, but, they wouldn't have a purpose, if you understand what I'm saying.
I get it, yeah. So if we had a vegan world, it's very unlikely to happen overnight. And the fact that we breed farm animals into existence, they don't naturally mate. We would just do that less and less as demand lowers. So if it comes to a point where we do change the laws, say, and we do have a little amount of leftover cows, what would happen to them is they'd likely to go to a farm sanctuary. And there are a lot of those at the moment anyway. As far as keeping the species alive, I would argue that... Sorry, go on.
So the thing is, though, I mean, keeping them in farm sanctuaries, that's not really their natural environment, is it?
No, you're right. But they don't have a natural environment because they're not...
True.
They were never wild animals. We took a wild animal, we over time genetically manipulated them. So it'd be a case of them...
The damage has already been done. It's more about damage mitigation now, isn't it, really?
That's it.
Interesting. Sorry to interject.
No.
Yeah. What were you going to say after, if you can remember?
No, go on, Elle.
I was just going to say that oftentimes we create problems for other animals, and then we try and use those problems as a justification to continue breeding more into existence to like exploit them, which is really interesting and quite sad, I would say. But yeah, we have created this problem for them whereby they aren't going to have a natural environment. They are kind of removed from their their natural predecessors. So yeah, I think what we should bear in mind, obviously, this kind of hypothetical of what would happen, if everyone did tomorrow. It's good to entertain that and see what we would do. And I think for the most part, we would probably just look after them and let them live out their years, because obviously they would live about, by 20 years, they would all then be gone, or they would be massively, reduced. However, the way that these things typically follow are by innovation curves, and you'll see an increase, and then you will see the decrease in them being bred into existence anyway. So this kind of concern that what will we do with all these like billions of cows, for example, luckily I don't even think that would be a problem that we'd actually have to face. I know there'd be
I mean, in an ideal world,
thousands of them still. But yeah, sorry, Rhys, you were going to say something, and I
was going to say the cow species has been so artificially bred to change their genes that they are in pain if they don't get milked, and if we did release them in the wild, that would become a problem. Cows maybe not the best example here, but turkeys so artificially bred that they have a miserable existence, So maybe that's a better example for this, but it would not necessarily be bad to let them die out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah.
Sorry, does that answer your question? Sorry.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, kind of. I mean, I do think that what you were saying about keeping them in sanctuaries, that would be a strain on the economy for sure.
Yeah, it would be a short-term solution just for the ones we have left if the laws did change.
Yeah. And what's your thoughts on? Yeah, that does kind of answer, because that was my kind of thought. That there would be. Sorry to use the term, but there would be zoos. I don't appreciate zoos, but I do appreciate maybe sanctuary is probably a better phrase to use. But yeah, to go past that, what do you think about lab-grown meat? I think you spoke earlier about it, with the machines and hooking up and growing them in the machines. No. What if we could? Well, it has actually been done, where you could just sort of grow a filet mignon in a petri dish. How would you feel about that?
Cool. Ellie, do you want to answer this? Okay.
So in its current state, you're still, using. Wait, didn't you do a video on this recently?
Yeah.
You might as well.
I think the first one stopped using it, but they use fetal bovine serum, which requires slaughtering a pregnant cow and then taking the blood of the calf. Inside. So at the moment, totally not animal cruelty free. But I think it is starting to get better, I think.
Once it is, then once it's free of that, then I will probably have no qualms with it.
I mean, it would definitely.
But I wouldn't eat it.
It would shrink down the size of, let's say, the amount of cows that are slaughtered. It would literally be one, and you could probably make. You know what I'm saying? Slaughterhouses would be turned into laboratories rather than actually, having thousands of cows pass through the doors on a daily basis. It would literally be like one or two on a daily basis. Do you know what I'm saying? I know it's not exactly 100%, but as far as I can see, veganism isn't about converting everybody in the world to vegan. It's about the reduction of the consumption of meat, right?
As far as practicable and possible.
I mean,
it's more also as well to not to reduce the violations of rights towards animals. It's not so much it's granting rights to animals essentially. So
Yeah. Interesting. Well,
I think we don't
I've
need to
enjoyed our
worry about
conversation.
that one, sorry, because it is changing. And there are, even when I researched it, there were alternatives available that didn't require slaughtering animals. They were just not very popular, and I think more expensive. But it is,
Yeah,
there is a shift happening. So just keep an eye
I
on it in
have
the next
tried
couple
it
decades.
myself.
Oh,
I have
really?
tried it myself, and it made me quite ill.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it actually made me quite ill. I'm not a scientist, and I suffer ADHD, so learning things is quite difficult for me.
Okay.
But it's something to do with the bioavailability. It's not generational thing, a hereditary thing. You know, so if, let's say, my grandparents ate meat on a regular and high consumptions of it,
Yeah.
like my generations after, you know, gaining protein from other sources such as plants is very difficult for my biological structure to actually, you know, glean the proteins out of plants as opposed to gleaning the proteins out of meat. You know, my hereditary biological standpoint is that, you know what I'm
sorry.
saying? So it's going to be a case of,
I
sorry, yeah,
haven't
go on.
read anything that says that. So sorry, you were saying that it made you ill to be plant-based.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what data is there to say that people get ill from eating plant-based diets,
Well,
given the
felt
the
present
history of family?
experience.
So when we're talking about dietary, nutrition and dietetics, so we're going to
Yeah.
refer to substantial data to actually ground what is the case. And personal experience, when we're talking about like the hierarchy of scientific evidence, isn't even considered any form of reliable evidence whatsoever, because the thing is, you could have well felt ill, but there's such things as an incredible force of the placebo, hence them needing to trial things against the placebo trial just to ensure that when they're testing for something that it works. As well as that, you could have attributed it to and that could have been part of the placebo, you could have attributed it to being plant-based. It could have been social pressure telling you that you're my mic. It could have been social pressure telling you that it's going to make you unwell, and then you kind of, falling for that in your mind.
No,
The mind is an incredibly powerful thing.
I
So,
understand that.
unfortunately, that's not proof. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, uh, I went on to sort of plant-based sort of steaks and, you know, sausages like corn and stuff like that. And as soon as I stopped eating those and started eating meat again, it was like, you know, I'd stopped getting like not really diarrhea, but you know, my stools would sort of coagulate a little better. You know, it just didn't agree with my system at all in any way, shape, or form.
Well, again, yeah. But
You know, so
you've probably
it's
heard of the popular term in science that correlation doesn't equal causation. So just being like, well, this happened and then this happened, it's like, well, that can be like a hypothesis, and that can drive people to want to test these things. But then we actually refer to the testing and the robustness of the evidence that's there. Then we
yeah,
look at that and go, okay, well, so it could have been anything. It like
true.
literally like
I
if you're
absolutely
paying
agree.
attention to a pattern.
Yeah, it could
So
have been
I
anything,
would.
but you know,
Mm.
if you try something and you have a bad experience with it, no matter how you sort of logically and reasonably think about it, you're not going to do that again, you know?
You put
No
a
matter
mental block
how
on it sometimes, I think, yeah.
exactly.
Well,
Yeah, do you know?
yeah, I get what you mean, but then unfortunately, what you would have to do. I'll let you talk. Ruth, sorry.
No, it's cool,
um,
man. This is cool. I'm
I would
enjoying this
say though,
conversation.
it's, that's good, but there's this incentive, isn't there, when we're talking about the consequence of not doing something? That's like, oh, okay, well, I'm compelled to try it again because if I don't, this is what I'm contributing to. Do you know what I mean? Sorry,
Yeah.
Rhys.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I've had similar experience in the past. I had cheesy pancakes one time. I just thought I'd try it. I went to hospital.
Right. Yeah.
But it wasn't because of the cheesy pancakes, but I never ever had them again. And you know, I don't eat cheese anymore. But
Right. I don't
but I
drink
never
vodka
will.
anymore. I can't drink vodka. The smell of it just turns my stomach. You know, I know it's obviously not food,
but we have got to sort of look at both sides, and you know, while you might have this mental block, who is paying for that? You know what I mean? Like, are you eating like meat, dairy, eggs at the moment?
yeah.
So, you know, I mean, there are clear victims involved in that, so we have to try to see whether we can find a way to go plant-based. I'm not sure what happened with your diet, if we can do it somehow differently, maybe. But, you know, that's my mindset. I got to put them first, because I wouldn't like to be in their shoes.
Basically, I didn't go like full vegan. It was basically a case of the meat that I was eating was replaced with plant-based alternatives. So, you know, I mean, as it currently stands, I'm still eating meat, but I also eat veg. I also eat fruit very regularly. I don't eat processed food. I don't eat frozen food. And, you know, I eat a lot of nuts. I eat a lot of grains. I have wholemeal bread. I have wholemeal pasta. You know, I keep my diet as balanced as I humanly possibly can. You know, I eat as much vegetables. I eat as much plants as I do sort of meats. Probably, no, in fact, it's probably more like a 75-25% ratio. I probably eat 75% veg and fruits and fresh products to like 25% meats and eggs and whatnot.
And when you were trying out plant-based there, you were basically taking the same meals, swapping out the meat for the plant-based meat.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
I wonder whether it would be worth you looking into sort of whole food plant-based then. Replace it with sort of beans.
Yeah, because if you're concerned
or...
with,
Go on.
if you're concerned with feeling like crap, then you're going to want to make your diet better, aren't you? You're going to want to kind of like when I eat processed foods, I feel like crap. So it's just kind of a case of, well, if I don't eat this processed food, it might be really tasty, but I'm not going to feel like crap if I, you know, don't eat it.
Right.
So you know, if you want to feel good, then don't eat those foods.
Yeah, this is
just
it.
processed garbage.
I mean,
and,
what?
You know, especially with flesh being processed, it makes people feel crap.
Well, what are your thoughts on eggs or free-range eggs? I do try and buy free-range eggs.
Sure. Do you know why vegans don't eat those?
Well, Rhys just did a video.
Sorry, GNI, do you know why vegans don't eat free-range eggs?
Well, because it's from an animal. It's an animal product, right?
Sure. So free
I mean,
range.
baseline.
Yeah, absolutely. But free range is not very different at all from caged. In fact, they're pretty much exactly as densely populated inside sheds. It's just the cages have been taken away. They're still squished up against each other in there.
Right. Okay.
I wish I could remember. I think it was. I think cage-free hens suffer a lot with broken breastbones, whereas caged hens suffer a lot with broken legs.
Right.
All you need to do really is look at some footage on YouTube of the inside of a free-range farm, and you'll see it's not how it sounds. You know, it's a buzzword to make you feel better. I was eating free-range eggs before I went vegan, and it made me feel better. You know, they want to hide this stuff.
So, are there any eggs that are literally, you know, they have a massive field to sort of roam through, and then they can nest wherever they want? Is it like organic free range eggs, or?
So yeah, there is organic. Organic isn't much better than free range, believe it or not. Often it's mostly inside anyway. They'll have like a little pop hole in the sheds. I can't remember how many are in a shed, but it's thousands, and they've got a little pop hole, so they have the opportunity to go outside technically.
So is there a step further than that?
You could.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Some people argue for backyard chicken eggs.
Yeah, exactly that kind of thing I'm thinking about, where there's just a massive field.
Well,
it's not overpopulated. They do have shelter and places to nest, you know.
So there are
Do you believe that an egg is sentient?
No, it's not about this.
Well, no, it's not the problem of the eggs. So when we're talking about these chickens, they've been selectively bred to overproduce like massively, eggs, it's like it's the reproductive cycle. It shouldn't happen as
Okay.
often as it does, and this can
So
lead to health problems for these chickens. You're supposed, really, if you look after them, a good thing to keep them healthy is to feed the eggs back to them.
right.
That we've bred, again, how we started this conversation about breeding problems into animals and then like kind of using them against them. That's what we do when we take their eggs from them. And even then we're seeing something that they produce from their bodies as something that we can take, which I would say is inherently exploitative.
Yeah.
Or if not, I would make the case that at the very least it's a slippery slope to attribute value to.
Yeah, obviously, keeping thousands in a shed and whatnot is to maximize profits. What if that completely and utterly wasn't a factor, and the
Yeah.
ratio of eggs that were taken to be sold or consumed, an enough proportionate amount was actually given back to the chickens, and they had a massive field to roam around in, etc. They weren't genetically modified to produce more eggs,
Okay.
etc., etc., etc. Would then, at that point where it was completely 100% natural, would that then negate eating eggs? Would you eat an egg that is,
So when a chicken lays an egg, they're using up 10% of their skeletal calcium, which
Yep.
is why they suffer so much with osteoporosis and broken bones. Osteoporosis is considered inevitable in egg-laying hens. So even if we found that magic balance, though,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That
Yeah.
if that magic balance was there, and even to a point where it was like you could probably only glean one egg out of 1,000 chickens that have 20 acres to roam around. Do you know
Sure.
what I'm saying? What if
presumably
the
there's a
golden
balance
egg?
somewhere.
But
But
Yeah, if you had that one golden egg,
I
would
would-
that one golden egg really
Yeah.
be that bad?
you
If it's
ever-
not.
I would say with that, then sorry, please.
Sorry, have you ever wondered what happens to male chicks in this industry? Because they are born like 50-50 like humans,
Yeah.
50% females, 50% males. Do you know what happens to the males in the egg industry?
Nope.
Okay. On the first day that they're born, they're either gassed or ground up alive, because they're not worth anything to the industry. It'd be a drain on profits to keep them alive. They're a separate species
Yeah.
from meat chickens, so they're not even good for
Which
meat.
is what I was thinking about the cow hypothesis before. I was talking about,
yeah,
what would
yeah.
happen to them. Yeah. Go on. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. Where was I going?
The male hens are ground up.
Yeah, so I can't remember where I was going to go with that. Sorry.
Oh,
Well,
sorry,
why-
mate.
It's all right, mate.
I
What you're
didn't
Not your
mean to
thinking.
interject there. But
Well,
yeah, that's what
while
I'm
you're
saying.
thinking, I'll just say that, like, while you're thinking that, I'll say that you're still seeing something that they produce as something that we can take and use for our own benefit without their consent, which is inherently a very questionable
Yeah.
thing to do. And as well as that, like, as Rhys is saying, the males are going to be killed. And there was something else, but then as you forgot what you were saying,
Okay,
Rhys,
that's all right. I just
forgot that there
remembered
was,
what I
like, a
forgot.
massive-
I remembered
you,
what I forgot.
Have you ever watched
What did you
Have you watched the YouTube
Sorry,
content
Guinea,
creator
Rhys has
called?
remembered, and his memory is so bad.
Sorry,
Oh,
mate.
go
I
on,
will
sorry,
forget.
mate.
What were you going to say, Rhys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go on,
so
mate.
even if we go for these backyard hens, if you wanted to buy a backyard egg-laying hen, you're buying them from a hatchery, and the hatchery is the place where they kill the males. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to buy a male chicken,
Yeah.
So even if you give this egg-laying chicken the best life they could ever have, you've still killed their brother. Pretty much, you've paid for that, and that's
Yeah.
the biggest reason.
As
I
well
think,
as
for me.
that, like, how are you even going to have this? It would be quite difficult if everybody wanted to eat eggs. You're just going to go back to industrialized farming because, like, you said, like, oh, what in this scenario, like 20 acres of chicken, like for chickens. It's like, where are we getting all this land?
Yeah,
and
I
these
mean,
animals and all
the
these
question
resources
that
go to them.
the question that I actually asked wasn't answered.
Sorry, what? Could you repeat it? Sorry.
Oh, what was that?
Well, what if we had the well, I know you say that it's inherently wrong for taking something, but what if there's just this one golden egg, let's say in a month, and it's completely and utterly, okay? Would this, would it actually be that bad? Because the reason you did actually answer the question, because it is inherently wrong to take from something that
But
you don't
that's
have
why
the
I brought up
consent
the
to.
male chicks as
But-
well, though, because that's inherent.
Yeah. I mean, have you ever watched a content
That's
creator called the Urban Rescue Ranch?
No.
Because he has chickens, and the amount of eggs that are actually wasted, they're either rotten or the mother hasn't incubated them well enough. The amount of eggs that he actually has to throw away is quite proportionate.
Okay.
What's
But again,
the,
we've talked about how they've been selectively bred to
No,
overproduce
it's
these.
it's
So that's
it's
the
not.
problem with breeding.
No, it's not. It's an urban rescue
You know
ranch.
how
They
many?
aren't. They
Yeah,
aren't.
but do you know how many hang on, do you know how many eggs that are naturally that a chicken would have originally produced?
No.
Not like it's about in industrialized farming. It's something like ridiculous, like 300 a year. Is that right, Rhys? Because you've done that
Yeah,
recently.
yeah, it's 300.
Yeah, but
Like I say, it's
the
literally
number
in his
is
back garden. It's in his back garden. He
No,
doesn't
not him
breed them for
specifically.
the
He
egg.
didn't do it, but the species has been bred like that.
yeah, no,
Um,
species, yeah.
What you were going to say, Ellie? Naturally,
Right.
they should be producing 10 to 12 eggs a month. Sorry,
Yeah,
a
that's
year.
what they do.
A year, sorry.
Yeah.
Because there
A
are
year.
periods at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you know.
Right, I see.
hmm
Interesting. I do recommend watching that
Weird,
streamer. It's
consider
very.
they are. It is interesting because obviously they have a cloaca, which is both like a vaginal area and a butt. So it's not the same as like our reproductive system, but it
Yeah,
is
of course.
interesting that the reproductive system that they produce is something that we even see as food anyway.
Could I just...
So, but
Sorry.
yeah, I think it was answered really. Sorry, Rhys.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm just
someone
gonna
just
stop
pointed
talking.
out in my chat there, when you give an egg-laying chicken to a sanctuary, if they're saved from the industry, they give that chicken an implant so that they produce far less eggs. Because, like I say, they get osteoporosis and things from laying so much. So if you were to look after the chicken, in their own interest, you would give them this special implant to reduce how many cycles they're having there.
Right, I didn't know that.
No,
But,
I found that out recently. That's not common information.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I have enjoyed our conversation for sure. I am going to back out now, try and let somebody else come in and maybe make a few points. But I do recommend watching that streamer, the Urban Rescue Ranch. He's quite a funny character.
I will check that out if you give plant-based another go.
All right, well, you have a good day, guys.
All right, see you later.
Thank
See
you,
you.
bye.
Very much. Right, so we'll move them to audience.
Okay.
And then next person, let's see. We've got one person is verified as non-vegan, so they get priority. If you can verify yourself as either vegan or non-vegan, then you will get priority. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hey, you alright?
So I have a question.
Sure.
You're quite quiet. Can you come closer to the microphone?
My face is kind of on the microphone.
Oh, okay. If you can be a bit louder, that'd be fantastic.
Just scream.
Just scream.
Ah!
That was better.
So I just like, when did y'all become vegan? I can ask that.
I did 7 years ago.
Yeah, I did not long ago, 2020. I went vegan.
When you guys went vegan, did y'all? I'm sorry, I just woke up. When y'all went vegan, did y'all have any like problems, or like did anything like bad? Like, did you start to feel sick or anything? Because I'm starting to feel sick, but I'm fine. But
I didn't.
So there's nothing.
Sorry.
Mhm.
I was vegetarian for a very long time, so meat was already out of my diet. I was reducing before I went vegan. It was kind of a process for me personally. I have heard of people getting a little bit sick if they really ramp up the amount of fiber they're getting all at once. So some people do recommend a gradual shift to fiber, maybe get onto the plant-based meats and slowly go into a healthier diet that way. Some people recommend that.
yeah, okay.
Sorry, Ellie.
What were you gonna?
Yeah, I didn't feel ill. I went straight away, like to vegan from non-vegan, and my diet wasn't really good to begin with anyway. I think when people are hyper focused on the fear that they're going to get really ill from doing it, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I went in with the mindset of this is wrong. I don't really care like what happens because I didn't actually know about the health stuff, and due to that, it meant that I was like, I think I wasn't focusing on it. I think if I did, maybe I would have thought that I was getting ill. But no, I think that when there's a dietary change of any sort that's quite significant, or you're removing a food group, you are going to feel some effects. And you should just refer to evidence, demonstrating what certain foods might be a problem or what effects you might feel. But apart from that, it's not this thing that suddenly, oh well, if you go plant-based, it's necessitated that you're going to feel horrible and it's not going to change. Yeah. It's just you are making a change to a diet, so there will probably be a bodily change. There will be an adjustment period, typically. But it's not this permanent thing. It's a thing that you can easily adjust because there's so many different plant foods to kind of work with, and don't kind of, there's social pressure there to tell you that you are going to be sick, you aren't going to be well, that you're going to starve. I was told these things, and you just can't let it overweigh the robustness of the evidence that it's suitable for us to consume that way.
Yeah. Okay. I just have like one more question, if that's okay.
Sure.
So, I think I might have already asked this question, but you guys weren't there, so I want to get like a different opinion on it.
Okay.
So most vegans, the reason they go vegan is because animals can't consent to being eaten. So just say like if they could, like, I know that's probably weird, but does that technically mean that like human meat is vegan if the human consents to being eaten?
To take this into reality, human breast milk is vegan if it's given consensually.
Yeah, but I more mean like milk, not milk, but like meat, like human meat.
Yeah, I guess there is a difference in sometimes because breast milk is specifically designed for that purpose, as opposed to like the flesh of humans being. But at the same time, I wouldn't say it's vegan. I just say it wouldn't then be unethical. Do you know what I mean? Because they're not the same thing. There can be things that are vegan and maybe unethical, or the other way around. I don't know. They're not the same term, but I wouldn't say it's vegan, but I would say it's ethical or it's an ethically neutral to consume the flesh of someone if they've given consent.
Yeah, but like what I'm saying is like if like a cow somehow gave consent to being eaten, and would that technically make it okay to eat the cow?
I mean, it'd be very difficult to weigh this up because when we're talking about consent and capacity, it's a very complicated thing. But if we could somehow live in a, hypothetical world where cows were, they could communicate with us to such a level that we could garner actual consent from them, then I guess so, yeah. But I don't actually see, if we're, returning to, no longer hypothetical, that's not the case that they're going to be giving us their consent, or that they can.
Okay, thank you for your opinion.
Thank you.
Right, so I'll bring in another person.
Cool.
We've got animal hentai. Crikey.
Oh, brilliant. You might have got me demonetized there. Cheers.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Thank you for having me.
Hi there.
My name is not hentai, it's hentai because I'm a hen with a tie, so you don't get confused.
Yeah, Ellie.
Yeah, I can spell. Yeah, sometimes.
So I want to say that animals can feel pain, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But did you know that I'm not sure about that, but plants also can feel some sort of pain.
Where did you read
evidence is there to suggest this?
I mean, some science lady or dude, I'm not sure, but about that. But they were like testing out like pain or something with plants, and there were like uh, stuff doing with that. I'm not sure.
Can you show what you're referring to? Because it's very vague, and I don't know. But the consensus, scientifically speaking, is that they don't feel pain.
I mean, I'm
And
I'm I'm just saying I'm not really sure about that, but I just
okay.
heard about that.
Sure.
And even if they did, for example, 85 to 90% of, say, for example, the world's soya that we grow is fed to animals. So we have like 106 billion land animals on the planet. Obviously, it's part of, animals to have to consume food. And yeah, so if we're concerned suddenly about, oh my God, we find out that plants actually do feel pain and have this experience, then, the vegan lifestyle or plant-based diet would be something that people would have to really, adopt anyway, because it would be far less rights violations in that instance.
I mean,
So, in other words, we are already feeding so many plants to animals that if we wanted to reduce the amount of suffering we're causing to plants if they could suffer, the best way to do that is if we all adopted a plant-based diet. We would need to kill less plants to feed all the humans.
yeah, I mean, I want to say like the less cows we feed, like I mean, the less cows we have on Earth, like for feeding humans, the less like Earth we damage because they produce like a lot of gas and stuff for
Yeah.
global warming and stuff.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
like, I mean, I would like to go to like vegan, like eating like plants and stuff, but I cannot like provide it. Like I have to eat what I have at home
Okay,
and
are
stuff
you
like that.
a teenager, are you?
Yeah, I just turned 18. No.
Okay, fair enough. Um, would your caregivers, your parents, whatever, would they support you if you did want to go vegan?
I guess sure. I mean, I have a cousin that is full vegan, like only plants and stuff.
And
I
they,
would
they
go
speak
vegan.
positively about that, or
Yeah.
okay, well, it sounds to me
I
like
mean,
maybe you could.
I mean, I would go vegan, but the amount of money that like I have to like invest in stuff like that because let's say meat costs $10,
Okay,
but this like lettuce and stuff that could feed me one day cost like $50 because I know why it costs so much, but so
just
like
in this
I would rather
hypothetical.
spend
Okay.
yeah, I would rather spend $10 than 50 a day to keep me fed and alive
Yeah, I
because
understand, but I
yeah.
mean, the cheapest things in the supermarkets are the plant foods, right? I think
I mean, it depends
maybe you're
how
thinking
much.
about meat alternatives like fake burgers, fake steak, and things like that. Is that
No,
what
no,
you've got in mind?
just meat. No, just meat because if you want to like fed yourself for one day, you have to like eat a lot of plants. But if you want to get like for
Oh,
meat,
I see,
you
to get the
have
same amount
like
of calories.
yeah,
Well, it depends on the plant. Like when we're talking about, for example, like nut butters, which are very cheap and they're very high in calories. You're talking about things with
for
high amounts of oil in them, and then that's
yeah,
very calorie dense. So
Oatmeal
yeah,
is a
but
great
here
breakfast if you want to
yeah,
pack the calories and the
yeah,
protein in.
oats. Yep, oats have a lot of calories. Pastas has quite a significant amount. Rice.
yeah, but here like nuts and stuff are quite expensive. Here
Sure.
I don't know why, but it's really expensive to compare to like meat and stuff.
Do you mind saying vaguely where you're from?
Croatia,
Okay.
Europe.
Croatia.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that because there are a lot of vegans in here. There's probably some people in Croatia, or there's some like blog posts that are giving advice to people who are Croatian or live in Croatia, and can facilitate a kind of meal plan or a shopping list or shops to tip to where you should eat and go. It's quite difficult for us to tell you what to specifically to get. If you lived in the UK, I could tell you exactly where to go, exactly how much things costed. But I think there would be people who'd be able to help you and just make the whole process easier and affordable.
Yeah, because every time I go to like store, it's like half a kilogram or 300 grams of this nuts or that. It's like really expensive, like
Yeah.
15,
I
like
mean,
$10,
you
$15.
don't have to eat nuts on a vegan diet, you know. Are you concerned about protein? Is that why you're saying nuts?
No, I'm just saying like stuff that I could eat that
Yeah.
I'm not like
Well, let's
allergic
just
and
do a
stuff like
quick
that.
example. So, what did you have for dinner last time?
I eat like some kind of rings and vegetables,
Some kind of what? Sorry.
and that's it. Like peas and something else. I'm not sure.
Okay. And do they do a vegan alternative to those? You could do a one-for-one swap, maybe.
What do you mean by that?
So I can't quite hear what you're saying, really, what you're eating for dinner
Oh,
there.
sorry.
I don't think it's
I,
your
I mean,
fault. I think it's just a little quiet.
uh, s- um, like I ate peas and some other green stuff. I'm not sure,
Ah,
but like, I mean, we have that, and that's pretty good. Like, and something like squid rings, I think.
okay.
I'm not sure.
Well, squid rings are an easy... I don't know Croatia, to be perfectly honest, but squid rings replaced for onion rings, maybe.
I think so. Yeah.
Um, I think for every meal that you've eaten in the past week, you could probably find a vegan alternative for that. And if it's... it could be a fake meat, or it could be a whole foods plant-based alternative. So, for example, a lasagna usually has beef in it, but a lot of people replace
Yeah.
it with fake beef or lentils. For example, and lentils are dirt cheap all around the world. So there are many
I'm not
ways to
sure
do
what
it,
that is.
like a sort of bean. But
Oh,
like Ellie says, you sound like you are interested in going vegan. You sound like you're on board with the ethical side and so on. It's just practically. So, like
I
Ellie
mean,
said,
like, yeah.
have a look at like Facebook groups or I don't know what's cool these days, you know, groups in your area for vegans, because there's certainly going to be vegans around you who know a lot better than we do.
I'm really sorry if I'm like quiet. I just don't have experience with talking
No,
to
that's
people
fine.
because like I would say I'm shy, but like I'm like the introvert side.
That's okay. We're all on Discord. I think we're all introverted.
Yeah, like I can't tell you the last time I actually saw someone in real life.
In real life, yeah.
Yeah, like get away from me. Oh yeah, that was fine.
Can I talk about like farm animals, like why should we not like release them to the wilds and stuff like that?
Well, vegans don't want to release farm animals into the wild, if that's what you're asking.
No, like if we like um, accidentally risk an animal, like the cow
Okay.
could survive if like if if he or she like finds a pack of wild cows or something. I'm not sure about that. Or like a sheep, if we accidentally release a sheep, the sheep will grow like the wall and
Mm.
could not see or walk around. I just want to say that.
Yeah, you
I
are
think
right.
we're aware of these
Go on.
issues that like we're aware of the issues that we've bred into them, and we have to be really
Yeah.
careful that because a lot of the time I said this a bit earlier. I don't know if you saw, but heard, but a lot of the time we will breed problems into animals, and then we'll use those problems against them as a justification, to continue breeding them into existence and exploiting them. What we should be saying is, okay, well, we've bred these problems into existence, and be really careful not to just kind of be like, well, by the way, these things do happen and they kind of need us. So, and then
Yeah.
not conclude from that, oh, okay, well, we should, they need us. We should carry on doing what we want to do. with their bodies. Because yeah, it's absolutely the case. We've bred these issues into them,
Yeah.
but we're the ones typically forcibly breeding more into existence in the first place.
Yeah.
We're not, we're not helping them. Yeah.
I mean, if we did not like, if we did not like produce, hello.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hello?
All
Hear
right.
you.
Go on.
I think their mic's gone a bit funny.
Okay, just go off what you're saying while you fix your mic there. In the wild, a sheep, whatever the closest ancestor is there, they do actually shed their wool in the summer. They don't need somebody to shear them. So that is something that we have bred into them genetically. So the vegan solution to that is to stop breeding them because they are force bred.
Hello.
Hello?
Oh God, that disconnect. I mean, my internet disconnected me.
Oh dear.
It's okay. Can you repeat that?
Yes, so in the wild, the closest natural relative to the sheep would naturally shed their wool in the winter so they don't get too hot. They only need to be sheared because that's something we bred into them.
Yeah.
So the vegan solution is to just stop breeding the sheep because we do force breed them. They don't mate naturally, you know.
Yeah, I know about like forcing stuff
Mhm.
for our like consumption and stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Did you have any more questions there?
Yeah, I have a question about what is a white freezes.
A white what, sorry?
White freezes.
I'm not sure I know what that is. Ellie, have you heard of that one?
I'm sorry, I don't know what you're saying.
White freezes.
Still don't know. I'm sorry.
All right, never mind. I just found like this thing. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe like, yeah, I don't know. I just wondering if you know.
No,
No,
sorry.
no, I've never heard of it. Sorry.
No, it's fine. All right. You guys have a nice day.
You
Cheers,
too.
you too.
Thank you very
Take
much
care.
for talking to us.
Bye bye.
I nearly yeeted myself by mistake. Oops. Got one verified non-vegan in there, so they get priority. Sorry, lads. Sorry.
Okay.
Alpha, you've been invited. Please accept the invite and come
Hello.
and become a speaker. Hello.
Hey,
Oh, hello. Hi.
so
So
why
I,
aren't you vegan yet?
I'm not vegan because, so basically, I just like it's really like it's kind of like an addiction. Not really an addiction, but like it's like I just really like meat. Pause, no homo. But like I really like burgers and shit like that. And I've like been eating like every day. It's like a daily thing in my life.
It's a
Okay, well,
habit, right?
firstly,
Yeah.
we don't need to say no homo, do we? It's fine to be homo.
Thank
But
you, thank you.
that's the yeah, okay. But so would you say that it's convenience? What would you say? It's taste pleasure? What
It's
what is it to you?
convenient, taste pleasure, just everything that benefits me. I would say, because
So do
see,
you
like
think?
oh,
Sorry,
like
carry on.
I'm poor, so like I can't really afford like these vegan products. They're like in my place, they're really expensive. So like I'm struggling on money, bro. I got a job, I'm struggling.
So when you
But
think of
yeah,
what a vegan eats, what are you picturing?
I'm picturing like plant-based products. I'm picturing like a lot of exotic things.
We're talking like fake meat,
Okay,
so we're
well,
talking exotic vegetables and stuff.
Yeah, like yes, like mystery meat or impossible meat. I think that's really expensive.
okay, well, the thing is though, an abundance of poor vegans exist. It is just the case that there are just many poor vegans. Okay. I don't think you're talking to very rich vegans right now at all.
Yeah, but like I'm
Rhys is a
feeling
peasant, so
like the poorest
it's
of the
just
poor. I'm so sorry, Premium. Feeling like I'm the poorest.
yeah, the poorest of the poor. There are people in my chat right now who are very incredibly low income, have not much money at all. Some of my best friends
No,
are vegan, incredibly low income, and they
my
make
income is
it
very
work. And if you would like So if you would like that support, if you give like a vague idea of where you like live to people within this server, they can assist you in your given area to kind of function within your budget. As you will know from being low income, unfortunately, there's things that you can't have, and it's really annoying. But you function within your budget, and you align your ethics with your ability to act them out. But back to the taste pleasure and the convenience. Do you think that something being convenient and momentarily satisfying a sensory pleasure for yourself, do you think that that takes precedence over the life of another sentient being?
Now, mm, now, not really. No. I think that if this said sentient being just like didn't hold any value in the life, then like let me give you an example. If there's like a
Okay.
said like sentient being
Okay.
who like holds no value in this, I don't see it either. Because and now would actually apply value to them. But like if it doesn't apply any value.
So I'm a bit concerned because when you say if a sentient being doesn't have value, for someone like Rhys or myself, a sentient being does have value by merit of being sentient. So what do you
think
mean when you
sentient
say when a
beings have
sentient being
value?
doesn't have value?
Like you think like I think sentient just means able to like perceive things or feel them. So you're saying if a sentient being was like sentient and like they couldn't even move. They could just feel and perceive things. They couldn't like even move. They were like, stuck in. They couldn't do anything. You think
Like
that
a
they
coma?
hold like
Yeah. I worked in a hospital for 2 years, and I worked with people who, they lived in beds their entire life, and they absolutely did have value, and they do have value. Yeah. Sentient.
so you think that I think it's like I don't think that they hold as much value as a regular human because like you know how like people are like oh oh do you want to cut the plug on them because like there's like a low percent chance of them like coming back. So I think that just means that they like view them as less value.
Well, you don't need to think that they're the same value.
You view them as that less. I just want to. Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I just want to see if you view them as less value. Therefore, what? What should you do with them? What do
If
you
you view them as
think
less
we should
value,
do with them?
I think it's okay to like take some of their body, to like take some of their body parts and eat it. Not you don't have to eat the whole thing, but you have
Sorry, you cut out a little bit. Can I just clarify? You said that if a human has lower value in your view because they, they can't move from their bed, it would be justified to eat their body parts. Did you say that?
I mean, if they have like no chance to come back, then yeah.
Oh my god.
For the beans, my poor vegan
I
friend.
think like wait, hold on. I don't want to seem like an asshole. If someone has a chance of coming back,
I mean,
sure.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like,
like if someone has a chance of coming back, then
kind of...
sure. But like if they don't, then like, I see no problem with it. As long as they taste it.
They're still having their own individual experience. They're still experiencing well-being and suffering in that bed.
They are. Are they like dreaming us?
Pardon?
Are they like elaborate how they're experiencing?
So you were talking about how someone could have so little value if they just, for example, were just sat in bed and they couldn't move. Well, there are many reasons for why someone would be, what they would call bedbound. Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily mean, they're not having an experience. And it's the same when we don't want to talk about whether or not they're having an experience because these animals who, you're making a justification for, exploiting and killing, they are having an experience. So they are sentient. They are experiencing well-being and suffering.
Well, I haven't so you're saying that since they're sentient and they have experience of being and well-being, that like that's just like not justifiable to kill them?
Yeah, we shouldn't then exploit and kill them. No, we shouldn't violate their rights. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, I have another question. What if it doesn't kill them? Well, like let's say like you know how like cows get milk, does that kill them?
I mean, absolutely. Rhys did a really good video on the dairy industry. If you want to elaborate, Rhys.
So you may survive the winter.
Oh,
sure. It's called Let's Talk About Dairy. Do you know why vegans don't consume dairy?
No. Why?
So what needs to happen for dairy production to be possible is the cow needs to be pregnant because they're just like any other mammal. They need to be pregnant to produce milk. If they have a male, the male will never produce milk, so most of the time they're going to be killed, sometimes on the farm, sometimes they're sent for veal. After, I think it's 6 years, the milk production dries up, So that cow is then sent for beef. So beef, veal, dairy, and leather actually are all tied up together. You can't have milk without killing. Is the reason.
So you're saying, well, what if it's like a what if it's like a female? Very specific.
If it's what? Sorry.
Like if it's, let's say hypothetically they grab a female and then they make it like they like it's pregnant and so you're saying like I think it's okay to milk them if they're like pregnant and still female. It's not killing them. Like of course in the process that it's a male and it kills someone, I think that's fine. But I think if it's a female and it's not killing anyone, sure.
Sure, but by paying for the dairy, you're paying for all of that, not just the milking process, the killing, the forced impregnation, the killing of the male and the mother. You can't pay for only a bit, you know what I mean? It's all intertwined.
I see, man. I understand. So you're saying you cannot pay for like one part.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand, man. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Next person. So we've got Adam, who's verified non-vegan. So we'll invite them to speak. Please come up when you're ready, Adam. Hello.
Good evening, everyone. How are you?
Oh, all right.
Very
you're quite
well.
quiet
How are you?
on my end.
Am I a little bit quiet? Am I?
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
Do I have to put my mic closer to my head or something? Is that better?
A little bit, yeah.
Or we can just actually, I can probably fix it.
Is it up 100% in your voice settings?
Yeah, let me just. I do apologise, everyone.
It's
okay. Well, all right.
It might be on the mic itself sometimes.
All right, is that any better?
That is
yeah.
better. Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Okay. I mean, look, I just want to say I'm from Australia, so I'm up a bit late tonight. It's currently 1:22 a.m. in the morning.
Oops.
Oh, fair play to you.
Okay. All right. Now, I was just exploring on the stages earlier, and there was very much a different title since. And when I joined, there was a guy. I thought it was a bit of a troll. This guy was it was something vegan, whatever, ooh woo, oh whoa, and the start of his sentences and the end of his sentences, he said oh whoa. So I don't know if that's his thing or whatever. I nearly left, and then that's when you guys turned up. And then it became an actual very serious conversation. And I've actually taken some notes. Now, I mean, look, I'm from Australia. So, I mean, the first thing I wanted to mention was our native people, the Aboriginals, deaf meat eaters, anything from a kangaroo to a wallaby, a goanna, a snake, insects, the witchetty grub, a delicacy, you know, the desert's oyster. How do you feel about that? I mean, and on that, you said you're like a militant vegan. My cousin, I know a lot about veganism. My cousin had separate fridges. She's married to a guy that is not a vegan. They have separate fridges, separate sinks, separate cutlery, everything. You know, her dog's vegan. So, but yeah, I mean, that's my first question. How would you convince, I guess, native, like Aboriginals or I don't know, you know, people in America?
I get it, like oppressed cultures, right?
Yeah, I mean, where it's like, I mean, let's say with the Aboriginals, it's very much a cultural thing. It's very much a spiritual thing. They don't farm. They don't. Very much the British has come and colonised Australia, but before that, there was no farming of animals. It was very much a biodiversity thing, and this is also what I sort of want to highlight. That very much, I feel I'm a bit older than you guys. When I was a bit younger, there wasn't this big ethical push on let's just say, there's a big ethical push on right now on everything, like away from veganism. Oh no, I don't want to touch on it, but all the gender things and blah blah. Big ethical push, and it's all about, and you've mentioned it so many times tonight. It seems to be all about you and what you want and what's best for you, and
Okay, that's interesting.
your morals, and your
You
ethics,
should.
and
Adam, you've mentioned a lot of things, so can we just we're just kind of
oh yeah, we'll
otherwise
slow
things
down.
that you
Yeah,
said
sorry,
will
sorry.
yeah.
Very
So
sorry.
firstly, that's all right. Firstly, I find it weird what you've just said there about it's just for ourselves, because when we're talking about the industry of animal agriculture, we are killing 2.7 trillion animals every single year, and
very
you know
much
that.
understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to kind of explore this point of like how you would think that it's something that's for us and just us and what we think and feel. Like this is about protecting the rights of individuals who share that traits that we possess and experiences that we have.
That is the best point, because you are a human and you are the biggest polluter on this planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if you were talking before about the amount of plants which are produced to feed these animals, feed us, and your theory is that we should replace all these animals, and as noted, you're pretty much, both of you are very much in consensus that extinction is the solution. So let's just let them die and stop breeding them.
Can I take
so
that?
Do you
even
think...
though that yes, now we have basically created new species, as much as like carrots are now orange and not purple, very much like the foods that you eat are not the ones that you would have found before we started selectively breeding as well. And your solution basically is either put them in sanctuaries, let them die out, or basically don't breed them. So
I mean,
I agree with that
hang on,
either. Like, I mean, now that we do have sheep, like yes, you said that yes, we've bred sheep and we use that as an excuse against them. Well, yes, that's true, but at the same time, now that they're here, I don't think their extinction should be even on the cards. I think still a merino sheep, beautiful sheep, lots of wool, way too much wool, way too much. Have you ever seen? They can't even fucking see.
Right, Adam, hang on. You're going on for quite a while. So in order to address this, right? I know it's a really difficult issue of like, oh, we've bred them into existence with all these problems. We've got these 100 billion animals that suddenly are on the planet. Yeah, but unfortunately, we've created a problem. The solution is not an easy one of seeing like individuals be extinct. But if we care about the individual value of a given individual, we won't use that as a justification to. You're saying, oh well, this is your solution. Okay, as opposed to what? Breeding more into existence, even more, and continuing the cycle, and then. Well, that's the thing. That's the difference. We've got the solution. Yes, and unfortunately, it's uncomfortable. Other people, non-vegans, just want to continue consuming, producing, killing, exploiting over and over again. And we're saying no. Stop. That's what we're saying.
So just quickly before I go any further, there is a third point. It's been brought up quite a bit. And I would have to disagree with you here. A few people have brought up when they have switched to a plant-based diet, they have felt sick and things like this. And your explanation, I think, is a little bit wrong. And I'll put it this way. I think, when you switch to a plant-based diet, if you've been eating meat for 20 years and all of a sudden you go to a plant-based diet, your gut biome is going to change. That's what makes you sick. It's just the same as if you've been a really healthy person all your life, and all of a sudden you do a week on the pizzas, Big Macs, and chicken parmies down the pub and beers, your gut biome changes, and that's probably what a lot of people.
I loosely touched upon that. Yeah, absolutely. I did touch upon that though. I did say with the dietary change when you're taking out food groups. Yeah, when I was talking, I've recorded it, so it will be published. You can go listen to it.
Yeah, that's definitely
I said,
a big one. A lot of people miss it. They just need to give it a couple more weeks.
Yeah, that's fine. No, hang on, Adam, please stop for a second. Adam, please stop for a second. Just hang on, okay? Because I just want to address that because I did say that, and that was mentioned. And you
Oh, yeah,
can well
sorry,
deal
I
with these
missed
gut issues within, a plant-based diet. This isn't suddenly like this vegan problem or anything like that. And that
Oh, no,
must be
I just wanted to address it because I heard a lot of people say it before. And,
okay.
And give it more a go. Hey, go vegan. It's not that it's bad for you or you're not getting enough energy. You just got to give it more of a go. You can do it with a balanced vegan diet. I know you can.
Okay.
Science
That is something it
I
deserves
agree-
more
I agree with
attention. To be
that.
fair, like it is a concern for people.
But I agree with it.
Whether
but
it
most
happens
of
to
the time,
them or
it's
not.
your body's not used to it. But another thing that I wanted to bring up was about insects and sort of like farmed bees and I mean, I hate to mention his name. Most of you probably don't like him, but I recently watched a Joe Rogan episode with the Beyond Me Park in it. She was the girl that escaped from North Korea, and she explained that a lot of her childhood she survived off of insects, like foraging. How do you feel about that?
If someone's in a survival situation, like, I'm not going to preach veganism at them, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people would do anything to survive.
Not in a survival situation. I'm also mean in a world moving forward. Like I've seen a lot of things on the news where they're like,
people saying
insects
insects are the future of meat, right?
Yeah, I
stuff
think
like that.
insects are
How do you
understood to
feel
be
about that?
sentient. Well, if they're sentient,
You
then
feel that,
no,
yeah.
we've got the same problem. Yeah. We still
I
have
wonder
the
why
same
people
issue.
are so against eating plant-based that they're willing to eat like cockroaches and worms and stuff. You know, I don't really
Yes,
understand.
They want to loop and forward and do it as like this scenario of I just don't get it. What's so wrong with plants?
Just eat some beans, like what?
Yeah.
Oh well, look. I mean, as time has gone on, I have reduced meat. I do have another question though. Who decides these ethics? Who decides that it's wrong? Like a lot of people use the argument, oh well, animals kill other animals, but I mean, because we are obviously more intelligent than an animal killing another animal, and we have sciences that we can, farm in certain ways. Like, I mean, who decides the ethics that? I mean, as much as there's a lot of people in agreement that it's wrong. I mean, who decides that it is actually wrong? I mean, is it just the general? Is it the majority that just?
It's a good
decide?
question, but I think as far as I know, most cultures, if not all cultures, at least have this fundamental rule of not doing to others what you don't want done to yourself. And people have this blind spot then when it comes to not even all animals, just farmed animals. You know, we put dogs in the same situation. You're an animal abuser, you do the same thing. Honestly, I think that most people do believe, if they think about it long enough, it's wrong to eat any animal if they don't need to. A lot of people think it's not healthy to be vegan, they won't be happy, but the science is saying, yeah, you're going to be fine, you might even be healthier. I think there's disinformation out there. That's the biggest issue.
And as Rhys said with the whole, well, if you think about it long enough, and typically when you're thinking about it long enough, you're thinking about the actual victim. So really, I think it's quite much the outcome to the victim that decides whether or not something is right or wrong to do. And obviously, cultures and countries, they will move forward, and you'll have the leading thinkers who drive that and whatnot. So it's loads of different people, but at the same time, I think we're getting better at considering the actual victim when we're talking about things, because people, when we have these discussions of ethics, aren't thinking about the victim while they're talking about it, which is really interesting.
Well, that's true. I do have another point to raise. And it always gets raised, oh, do the carrots have feelings too? And somebody tried to mention it earlier, I'd like to raise the point of, I'm not sure if you watched the old Mythbusters, but Mythbusters did a thing, and there's been many other studies of playing music to plants will actually help them grow, and certain types of music help them grow. So surely if music being like almost an emotional thing, you could argue like an art.
Plants do respond to things, don't they?
You're assigning. This is the consensus is that plants aren't sentient. So you're just kind of like you're seeing one factor and assigning, this response stimulus to they must be feeling, they must be enjoying. Yeah, exactly. They don't have a central nervous system.
My thing is if it has a brain, that's my thing. I know.
Yeah, and
I know. Look, I eat meat. I mean, look, I'm in Australia, you know, like we eat crocodiles and kangaroos, you know, like we eat our coat of arms, you know, not all the time, and we don't ride them to school, but yeah, I'll take it back to basically the Aboriginal thing, that away from the factory farming and trawling of the seas, which I'm not necessarily a fan of, you know, I believe in, like, possibly that we could maybe work towards a future of biodiversity where sort of, you know, the bear eats the lion and the lion eats the hyena and the hyena eats the fish and the fish eats the grubs, you know.
Right.
And we fit in there somewhere too, but we can balance it all out. And the Aboriginals sort of had done that basically.
I think you're thinking of it in an environmental sense rather than, you know, an animal feels pain sort of sense.
Well,
is that right?
Well, as in, but also with the spiritual side. So when the Aboriginals do consume an animal, or many other cultures, they do have some sort of ritual behind it where they're thankful for it, or they do realize that they have sacrificed a life. They you know, they understand that as they're consuming it, and that's what makes it so important that they're doing that.
So I do understand, you know, I do understand how exploited Aboriginals have been and Native Americans and so on. And I do think that's an awful, awful thing. And
I'm not Aboriginal myself, by the way.
No, that's okay, but it is true, you know. What white people have done, basically. But I think we need to think about the victim here. You know, you need to put yourself in the animal's shoes. If somebody were to kill me...
That's what they do with the spirituality, that's what I'm
saying. I get
That's
that. If someone were to kill me, and to them it was a spiritual experience or religious or whatever, and they use every part of my body, you know, I don't see how that's a benefit to me at all.
That's right, it's not. But it's
why,
a benefit.
I don't know why it justifies it, you know what I mean? I think we're a bit scared to criticize Indigenous cultures.
This is what I'm getting to, kind of what I was saying before. Where do we... So everybody says, oh, well, where's the limit? Like, you wouldn't kill this over that. Like, you know, where's your limit? We draw the line at a dog and a cat, right?
Okay.
We've all seen that, right? But we definitely draw the line at human, don't we? So where do you fit in? Why do we get to decide? So by being vegan and increasing, as we go on, we would need more and more land space for a human. We're taking that away from an animal, regardless.
Do you mean as the population increases?
Just you being alive, just us using electricity, right?
Okay, I see.
Just the mine that dug up the things that are in the monitor, all the bits of every bit of gold, every single thing. You've killed more animals than you know. How do you...
Like, we're aware of that, and the thing is, so say for example, when you're participating in society, for example, you drive a car, for instance. So some people drive. You accept when you drive on the road that you're equipping a weapon. That's what you're doing. That it's very much the case that you could well kill any animal, even a human being. It doesn't then mean, because it is the case that I am participating in this action that is, you know, probably going to violate the rights of someone at some point, or, you know, very likely to, that it would give you any credence to start directly hit and running people, you know, mowing people over. So that's the kind of principle of veganism. It's like, okay, we do understand that intrinsic, you know, that it is the case that we will violate the rights of others and harm them along the way. It doesn't suddenly mean that we will then attempt to purposefully do it, and we will actually, you know, make way to avoid it, such as with driving. We make traffic light systems, we you know, increase lighting, we make cars safer, stuff like that.
Yes, you make cars safer, but for those cars to have been produced, I mean, especially some of these electric cars coming out. I mean, some of the land that gets cleared, just to make way for factories, production.
Adam, we're back to my point again. We're back to my point again that, like, yeah, is the case that when you produce things, and you are participating within society, that there will be harm caused. But that doesn't suddenly mean then you can actively cause more, or not try and.
So it's okay that you've caused the harm and you're using.
No, it's not okay. It's just a factor that's that in participating in the given society that you're in that current moment, it's not the way in which that someone would want it to be. But there are instances where you actively have to participate in society. Some people have to have cars. Some people you have to, you have to have a phone now or a computer now to even do your work.
Well, very true.
So, but you don't
that's
have
what I'm
to
saying.
consume the bodies
So-
of other once sentient beings. So again, it's the car analogy. You don't actively have to mow people down. And just
Alright, so-
because
alright.
it is yeah.
You're right. You are right. Look, well, the final question is like the meat co stuff, like the manufactured meat. Like in Australia, we've got a burger chain, Hungry Jack's. They've got
Oh yeah.
a rebel Whopper, which is it's got
It's impossible meat, I think, right?
I think but I can't tell the difference. I mean, it's slightly different, but pretty much,
It's not a big enough
but it's
difference for
not-
people to care, right?
That's pretty much like ground up soybeans or whatever, probably beans, whatever sort of it's made out of. How do you feel about the other, like the actual like lab grown? Like it is actually, it's not like so they feed it with a plant based protein, but it is actually meat. How do you feel about that?
So so veganism doesn't come down to. It's going to sound really weird. It's not exactly about what you eat. We're not just against animal products. Technically, I suppose you could say a lab-grown steak is an animal product. But really, we're not against eating animal products. We're against eating anything with a victim, if that makes sense. We're against eating meat because an animal has to be killed. You're growing a steak, nobody is being harmed for that. Although, just a side note here, right now, fetal bovine serum is used, so cows are killed at the moment for lab-grown meat.
I did say that before. I did hit. Yes, I did.
But going forward in the future, that's likely to change. But yeah, just growing some meat in a lab, no animal is hurt for that. Yeah, that's vegan.
Well, look, guys, I'm going to thank you for that. Too much of your time. I'll probably hang around.
Thank you for the discussion.
A bit more.
We'll go to bed.
Love what you guys are doing.
It's late.
Adam, before you go, could I ask you, what are the chances of getting you to go plant-based today?
Oh, mate, look. Nah, mate. Look, dude. I mean, I could probably sit here and go 3 or 4 days, just making a pasta. Just like no meat in it, whatever. Like own sauce, whatever. But I might have a few beers on a Saturday night, and like you got to stop by and get a bit of the dirty bird at the KFC. Like, I mean, Zinger Burger. I mean, look. You spoke about morals, right? You spoke about morals, and I'll say this one last thing, man.
Okay.
I haven't seen too many morals in my lifetime, man. I've seen a very bunch of fucking shady shit. I mean, what
I don't.
What am I meant to do? Like, I mean, yeah, look, my little difference, yeah, cool. Like, we all turn off our lights or whatever, yeah. I grew up in an era.
But I mean, like, you see in the supermarket the
There's
past 10 years,
there's a difference between there's the difference between turning off your lights and paying for the body of a once sentient being, though.
Okay, yeah, look, I understand that, but I'll always throw the argument out, like, if I walk out into the fucking ocean, shark's gonna eat me, or, like, I mean, just that's, I mean, as much as yes, I am an intelligent person, or an advanced, civilized person, but I mean, a crocodile's gonna eat me, a tiger's gonna eat me. A fucking baboon might eat me.
Yeah, but like a cow and a sheep is not going to eat you.
Right.
And even if they would, like, even if they, though we don't want to go down that route anyway, because
a sheep will attack me. I've been in a
Adam,
paddock. A
yeah,
sheep
but
will attack the fuck out of you.
I've been rammed by
right?
Adam. I wouldn't
away.
go down that. I wouldn't go down that route though, because like
So-
what someone else would do to you doesn't then justify us doing it. There are people who would steal from me. There's people who would assault me, beat me up, do horrible things to me.
Yeah,
Wouldn't then
and-
be justification for me to do that.
Well, I mean, actually, I mean, maybe you should come down to Australia sometime because eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. If you know what I'm saying, like you come in my
Well,
paddock,
if they've done it to me, then like if they've done it to me and in that moment I could defend myself, then that's a
right.
different thing. But just because they have the capacity to maybe harm me, and if they could, that doesn't. People say, oh well, if they could, they'd eat us.
No, but basically my point is there is a lot of brutality. There is a lot of brutality in the world, and I don't really think we should be sitting here worrying about.
Well, do you think it's bad?
I think we should definitely be worried about how much sort of the level of farming and environmental level. But I don't think we should be worried about how the cows feel. And I'll give you this example. The example I'll give you, which I did note down, is, like I said, I'm from Australia. There's a comedian group, Doug Anthony All-Stars. Whales are just cows that live in the ocean. Now, it was sung in a way that, let's eat whales, but it was also at a time where we were preserving the environment. And that's kind of the way I look at it.
Do you think that brutality is bad?
Yes.
Adam? Okay, so why are you actively participating in it when you could avoid doing so?
Sorry, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not hearing anything now.
Based foods and not consume the bodies and secretions of animals. And
So
I don't know if it's
on,
necessitated. I don't know if it's. Hang on a second. It's not necessitated in a laptop that there have been rights violations taking place, but it is when you buy the bodies, especially, and the secretions of animals. So they're not even directly analogous.
Yes, but I've got no problem with that. That it is the body of an animal. And that.
So what's the morally relevant difference between us and other animals? That means that like we can exploit and kill them, and that brutality is something we can participate in.
Have you ever do you know much about fish in the ocean? And there are many sort of larger fish, but there are other fish which will eat off of them. They will bottom feed at the bottom of the mouth and stuff.
Yeah. Therefore, what?
Right. I'll bring it back to the Aboriginal thing and what I said about biodiversity. There needs to be a balance, and it's okay. Like you need to understand that it's okay. Right?
Sorry, how? Okay. No, because when, as you said before, right? I'm pretty sure it was you who said that we're the most environmentally destructive species on the planet, right? So it wouldn't then suddenly be grounds to start, exploiting and killing us and ridding of us.
No, but it's also not grounds for you to have any sort of moral, fucking ethical high ground to even fucking speak about the fucking the ethical anything about the animal if you're the one, the biggest destroyer of the animal. It's almost like a man trying to talk about
we just
body.
Exactly. So we're not.
Yeah. So you're trying to speak for the animals when you're the biggest destroyer of animals, even if you're a vegan.
Veganism isn't even a moral virtue. Adam, stop. Veganism isn't a moral virtue, it's a moral obligation. We have treated animals so terribly, 2.7 trillion killed every single year, that being vegan still isn't quite enough. But we have to work within our system and bring up a new baseline that people can follow. Veganism, in 50 years from now, it will be something that people will frown upon and think, well, no, you need to go even further. This is the thing we follow now. I don't know what you're talking about, Adam. You're just straw manning what veganism is and what we stand for. It's not this kind of like.
What I'm saying is, you could actually have a biodiversity where it would be possible that people who want to eat meat.
So, but no. You're not thinking about the victims.
Yeah, but you're talking. Yeah, when I was talking about the morally relevant difference between.
No, but also.
No, so you didn't answer my question, Adam.
My main.
Can you answer my question?
Yeah. Okay. What's your question?
What's the morally relevant difference between humans and other animals that justifies exploiting and killing other animals?
And that's okay. I'll answer that. Yes, with being my point that you can't ask that question? Dan?
What? Yes, I
After
absolutely
destroying-
can.
After
No,
after-
no, you're distracting.
Yeah.
You should. This is the question for
Okay,
you.
okay.
Don't bring it back to me.
Okay, what allows
What's
me
the-
to eat a chicken? What's the moral part of it?
The morally
I'm
relevant
hungry.
difference between them and because you're hungry. So if you're
Right.
so if you're hungry and there is only that there is a human to eat, you're fine to eat them. It's justified to kill and eat them.
Yeah.
Because that's not a difference. That's again doesn't answer my question. I've asked what's the difference between humans and other animals, not between whether or not you're hungry.
Nothing.
What's
There's nothing but
Okay,
that
so-
we are monkeys. We are just
exactly so
intelligent monkeys,
exploiting and killing
intelligent,
them.
bold monkeys.
So being hungry at the weekend with your beer and then going to KFC to go get one of their bodies, there's no morally relevant difference between them. So morally speaking, you are doing something so atrocious that you could have avoided doing. That's what we're saying. Like very easily could have avoided doing, and you could work within a system, and not only for your own avoidance, but you could encourage other people, within a given society to actually grant rights to these animals, so we can move forward with our lives and like improve society for everybody, including the other sentient beings.
All right. Okay. Well, I do have one final question then. What are you going to do with the, I don't know, billions of animals? What's going to happen to them?
Yeah, we force
Didn't you
breed them
start
at
this
the
question
moment, so
asking this?
we would gradually
Yeah.
decrease how much we breed them as veganism increases.
So you're going to slowly kill off a species?
Well, we're not killing, we're not breeding them. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, you're changing the language there. We wouldn't be killing them.
Okay. So, how do you stop breeding?
You stop,
stop-
collecting
stop
sperm and then
forcibly
putting your
impregnate.
fist up a cow's ass and then putting us, sperm into their
Right.
vaginas.
And would you separate the males and females, or would they just roam free?
Well, the males are mostly killed anyway.
Yeah, or
Okay,
killed
so
or
males are
separated.
mostly
to begin with.
killed, and you avoided the question, but
Okay,
No.
fair play.
The
There's a
reason is
few,
so they're not
maybe.
even there to. They're not even there to separate really. So.
but the
And as well
males
as
are
that,
there,
some of the
correct?
as well as
Have
that, some of the
males.
animals that we've bred into existence can't actually breed without human intervention. So
100% correct there, but there are males that can breed, correct?
okay, well, when we're talking about
And
these
would your
billions of animals, if
solution
you've got
be
a few,
to keep them separate, as in selectively breed them, or would you set them free?
what do you mean
would there
separate
be
as in
a
selectively
fence?
bred them? Sorry,
Yes,
can you
yes, yes.
explain
We've
that?
already selectively bred them, but once your solution has happened, like, are we going to just keep them in farms for now and slowly break it down? I mean, and then what we get down to, like, there's only like, 10
And we've
Hereford
already
cows.
we started the conversation off with this, didn't we? And it's been 31 minutes, and I think we're just repeating ourselves now. I'm pretty sure we literally went through this.
I think you've avoided a few answers just the same as I did.
Okay, we'll just do
earlier.
them right
You
now.
kind of
You've got like, about 2 more minutes. Quickly do the questions, because I'm not avoiding anything. I'm right here, sat here, answering your questions.
Would you just let them free into the environment, or would they be somehow selectively put into a cage, and would the males and females be kept separate?
They'd be put into farm
regardless of whether
sanctuaries.
Yeah, into sanctuaries.
Before you
We've-
interrupt,
We answered this before. We answered this
Before-
before. Sanctuaries.
they would be put in sanctuary.
Yes,
So
we
we're
already
just
answered
gonna
that.
just have just little zoos of farms.
We already have farm sanctuaries.
Well,
You should visit them. They're
yeah.
actually quite nice.
We already have dogs in houses, and unless you have a problem with all these things as well. Which, some people do have a problem with,
Look,
and maybe
it's
we
been
have to...
entertaining. It's definitely been entertaining,
Yeah,
guys. I'm
thank
sure
you.
there are plenty other people to talk. You guys enjoy.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Take care.
Have a good day. How long did you say you were going to be, Rhys?
Less time than this,
How long
but
have we been
I
live?
don't mind
Oh.
staying on a little bit longer if you want to.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Yeah, that's fine with me. So yes, let's carry on.
I snuck up here. Hi.
Hi, Mark.
Hope
Right.
everyone's doing great. I've
Yeah,
been
yeah.
forced awake by a leak in my house, so I can't sleep. So I decided to distract myself
Oh, wow.
with you guys.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Yes.
Okay, right.
Good distraction. That's all you guys are. No, it's okay. I love you guys.
Thank you very much, Mark. Right, next person. Mexican Tony.
Mexican Tony. That's an interesting name. Fair play.
Hi, hello. I didn't expect that it was going to be the next in line because there were more people above me.
Do you want to, they were gone. Do you want to, go back and then
No, I do want to talk. I have little to no time because I'm the impending doom of me having to go to class is kicking away. So I have like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. If anyone is thinking, yes, I am Mexican. That's why my name. And I am not vegan just because of how Mexico is. Like there's not enough support for veganism, at least in the city that I live. It's most like non-animal meats that we have, like the Beyond Meat and things like that. It's almost impossible to get them unless you're living in like one of the cities that is like really big and really like going forward.
I live in Thailand. Right here, our fake meat choices are quite limited. You got like hot dogs. You got sometimes you have some sort of sandwich meats, maybe like a chicken breast type of thing. But it's really limited, to be honest. But I don't usually eat them. I go for a mostly whole food, plant-based sort of diet. So I am mostly eating vegetables and beans and rice and that kind of thing. Would that be possible for you?
Yes, indeed. Why, like the kind of lifestyle that I have currently is that I try. It is a thing that I learned from my mother and my father.
Okay.
They taught me to, whenever I want a snack, whenever I want just to fill in the gaps between like meals, I usually just have a vegetable, a fruit, maybe nuts or something of the sort.
Okay, good habit.
But we also have every now and then like purely vegan or well mostly vegan options because my dad is currently like trying to work on his diet and trying to like eat less meats and blah blah blah. So we could say that we have a Mediterranean diet because like most of the time it's like if we're going to eat protein, it's either fish or it's chicken or something that it is not that much. It doesn't give away such a big um, carbon print because my dad really likes it.
Where
We
does
try
he
to
live?
work in
I
those
have
kind of
lots of vegan friends all over
with
Mexico.
the
Tons of activists there.
You said yourself that you can do it, right? So was I correct that you when Rhys said, "Oh well, you could eat these things," you said yes. So do you think there's a morally relevant difference between humans and other animals that would justify, exploiting and killing them just because it's like within your culture and your country that it might be a bit difficult or it's not as supported? Because I don't think there would be a difference that would make that justified.
I don't believe that there's a main difference between humans and animals. Yeah, they are less evolved. Well, not less evolved, but less like they don't talk. That's something that most people see like, oh, they
In
don't
our
talk.
language.
They're dumb, quote unquote. But the reality is that most animals do communicate in their own little ways.
Absolutely.
And they do think, and they do have their how do I say it? Their own ideals, quote unquote.
Yeah. Their own desires
So,
and yep.
Yeah, they have the things that they want to do and they want to live. Any animal wants to live. But
so good, yeah.
At least here in Mexico, it's at least in the northern parts of Mexico that it's like the place where most of our meat is produced. It's really hard not to eat meat.
So it sounds like you already agree with veganism in your mind. It's just working out how to do that where you live. Is that right?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay. I've got someone in my chat. Sorry, before you go. I've got someone in my chat. She has a lot of friends living all over Mexico, and she'll be willing to put you in contact with someone near you if you wanted. I'll just give you the name on YouTube, and then it's up to you if you want to contact them.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's Trash Carcass. One word. Trash Carcass.
Would you be so kind as to DM it to?
Yeah. How can I do that? Can I just click your name? Ah, yeah, I can just type it in there. Cool. Yeah, I'll DM now.
But yeah, I really like. Maybe someday I'll end up going vegan, but I really don't know if I would be capable of keeping it up for an extended period of time. Because
Well, I hope you would. You said that you don't see a morally relevant difference between them and us. So if you know that they're going to like experience all of this suffering and that these rights violations as a consequence of not doing so, like I would really hope that you would be able to keep that up, knowing the consequence. Sorry, you were going to say something.
Something that I also wanted to note is the fact that currently in how the world is like hyperly producing meat and overall food, because we do have enough food to feed everyone, like to feed them enough to be like twice as big as they are. We just like what's the word? We lose a lot of that food to like decadence, like that it just decomposes or it goes bad.
Yeah.
So I feel like with the current state of the meat production and things like that, there's a high chance that not consuming part of it may just be detrimental. At least I have that idea in the mind, because
Wait, what?
There's so
saying
much
the meat
being
will go to
produced.
waste? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Well,
it's
no.
going to go to waste.
Well, the thing is, as we say, it won't happen overnight, so it wouldn't be something that just like goes to waste perpetually, and that's being all produced and nobody's eating it. I mean, the problem is of lobbying, where they oversupply to begin with, and loads is wasted, even in a time of high meat consumption. And as well as that, yeah, we do make a lot of food, and we would have the capacity to make even more food for ourselves without feeding all of these animals and without deforesting the places like the Amazon. Currently, the Amazon's still being deforested for cattle farming and for soy plantations. Like the UK alone imports 3 million tons of soya each year. More than half of it is coming from the Amazon rainforest, and is mainly to feed animals. So we are still deforesting land as we speak, just to make way, mainly to feed animals. So the problem is more, is worse when we're talking about animal consumption.
Yeah, I know. Like more than at least like a semester ago, I took a class that was like about ecological things and like realizing how your carbon print is so important to like overall helping others on like the world to make it like less polluted and things. And a theme that we ended up covering is the fact that many meats are like, what's the relation between the carbon print and the things you eat? And I feel like one of the best reasons to go vegan outside of like morals is just to help reduce the overall contamination around the world. So I feel like I'm just stranding away from my point. What I wanted to say is that at least here in Mexico, yeah, you can go vegan. It's okay to go vegan, and you have your ways to do it. But here in Mexico, it's not pushed towards. There's no like traditionally, you won't have a family say, "Hey, we're going to have a purely vegan meal today because we just want to do it."
It is the same,
It's
you
like,
know, in the UK where we're from. I don't know random families who have a random day of no meat. A lot of my family members, they don't believe you can have a meal without meat. You know.
Yeah.
It's common. I
feel like,
understand your struggle there, and it's easier with support. I do understand that, but it doesn't mean you can't do it alone. And you know, you've got the internet. You can speak to other vegans, other Mexican vegans, hopefully vegans in your area. Like the way you're talking, you sound like a vegan. You know what I mean? So it's just the how I think is the biggest issue for you there.
Yes. And what I wanted to like try to make like the important thing of me coming up into stage is you can make a difference in the future by pushing forward your beliefs, not like imposing your beliefs in people, because everyone has the right to believe in whatever they want, but you have the capability of, if you have kids one day, or if you ever are fostering a kid or something like that, you can change the overall ideals of the world by putting your ideas out there. That's something that I fear in the future, that only people that are, not to say, but most millennials and people of my age are not considering having kids.
Yeah.
And I know really intelligent people that are not considering having kids because they don't want. But I feel like if we intelligent people decide not to do the deed and have kids, I feel like the world just will start crumbling, because the only people that will have kids are the quote unquote dumb ones.
Have you seen
So I
the
just
film
wanted to spread-
Idiocracy? That's exactly about what you're talking about.
The one that Soldier goes into the future.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I've seen it. I really fear the fact that we may strand into that as we go forward. So please, if you have a kid and you're listening to this, and you can get a word of advice from a 20-year-old, please teach your kids or your immediate family that it's like small. Teach them to be good people, and teach them to be not vegan, but just be good, because we need more good people in the world.
Great.
But anyhow, I don't know if you
I
guys.
definitely agree. We need more good people in the world, and I would say good people typically are definitely on the right track when they're thinking, this might be difficult for me to do this, and this might not be the easiest thing, but I know that, you know, the consequences of this action to other, you know, sentient beings, and so I'm going to decide not, you know, to opt out of that. So I really hope that, you know, that is something that you can pursue, because absolutely we do need more good people. You know, more good people would mean that we wouldn't have all these problems that we have concerning the rights violations of humans and other animals, for sure.
Yes. But anyhow, it was a pleasure. I have to go to class.
Absolutely.
Hope everything goes well. Bye-bye.
You said you go vegan someday.
You're
I
right.
hope you can do it very soon, man. Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Ellie, I'm going to hit the bathroom really
goodbye.
quick, but I'll be back.
Unbelievable. Yeah, that's fine. Right. I'll let this person in. All on my own. There's no one here beside me. Hello. Don't make me keep singing Shrek songs, because I will do it. I will do it, and I will have so much fun while I do it. You know, go talkie, no talkie. We're not talking. No talking. Okay. Sorry, next person. Sorry. I'm relentless. I understand. I'm sorry. Hello?
Hi, I have
Hello.
a question which I feel like you'll answer easily, but I'm just wondering about, okay?
Well, I hope it's nothing to do with your mum being bitten on the bum. Oh no, I don't know why I saw bum.
So basically veganism is not it's not only about eating meat, right? It's anything to do with animal cruelty, right?
No
But also
exploitation.
but like also like to the best of your ability, meaning like you won't like do stuff that will ultimately cause you to die, right?
Well,
vegan
no,
wise.
yeah, it's so yeah, it's the same in kind of the context of like, say, generally you're anti-murder, but obviously if someone were coming into your house trying to stab you, and you had to defend yourself, and the only way to do it was to kill them first, you
Yeah.
could still hold an anti-murder position while
Yeah.
defending yourself.
So my question is about yeast, which is like a living being which is used and killed for stuff like make bread.
Do you know the difference between living and sentient?
Yes.
I'll just say what
What's the
yeast is.
difference?
Sorry, it's a fungus, like a mushroom.
Yes, it's a microorganism,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still alive. So
So are plants, so are various things that they're alive. It doesn't mean that they're they're having an actual experience, that they have the capacity to suffer,
Right.
experience well-being, those things that we're concerned with.
yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pro yeast. Rhys, actually, I'm gonna call you out because you don't like yeast.
I
You
wish
don't
I'd
like
never
nooch.
mentioned this. I hate nutritional yeast. It's a big thing in vegan circles, and I hate the stuff.
It's
It's disgusting, yeah.
that you
It's
take
disgusting,
this position.
nooch.
No,
It's
the
disgusting.
position that you hold is disgusting. But I don't want to get like, don't want to start thinking about that.
All right.
Next person. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. And you?
Pretty good, thank you.
Can you hear me okay, or do I need to do anything with my mic, or?
You sound good to me.
Okay, cool. So oh yes. The question is, why aren't you vegan yet, right? Or is that?
Yeah,
we
that's
passed
right.
that? Okay, cool. I apologize if you hear like all that in the background. I'm just
That's okay.
I'm doing a bit of work at the moment as well. So I think I can sympathize a lot with the whole vegan idea, because food wastage obviously is a big problem. The suffering of animals, you see documentaries with all the big farms with tons of chickens, and that is a big part of why free range is such a big thing. Fair trade also. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, no, it's not related, but still. So yes, no, I can sympathize with all that. But I think I think that it is also a culture. Culture is a big part of
Yeah.
it. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm from France.
Oh.
But yes, I know, it's a big surprise. So obviously in my country, we take care of meat. We are famously known for having the best. Having the best sort of food culture.
Right, yeah.
It is the same with Italy, same with South America. Like the previous man said, you cannot go anywhere without seeing meat in South or Mexico. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that as long as you properly provide for yourself, because having I forgot the word, a diet, voila, a diet that is dominated by vegetables, and
Mhm.
you know perhaps taking certain tablets if you cannot get certain nutrients, without having to pay either a high price for a food that you must eat every day, or just taking tablets. I think it is just much better to simply eat the product and not buy too much of it. You know what I
Sure.
mean, or?
I do. I think, yeah. So the only tablet, the only vitamin that a vegan needs to take outside food is vitamin B12. And the
Okay,
reason
yes.
that most people who eat meat don't need to take that is because the farmer injects B12 into the animal first. So we're all taking the supplement. You're just eating the animal and getting the supplement that way.
Okay, yes. That
As
is
far
fair
as
enough.
health, it is there are a lot of studies have been done, and they all come back to say that a well-planned plant-based diet is perfectly healthy for all stages of life, including infants, including athletes. So there's not really a concern for health there, to be honest. I know there's a lot of what's the word? A lot of disinformation, maybe, or just people don't usually know. I think it's hidden, to be honest with you. But no, it's health isn't really a worry for a plant-based diet, a well-planned plant-based diet.
Right. Do you you can call it off topic if you like, but you know that what's she called? That vegan teacher.
Yeah.
What's she called? Yes. Okay. So because I'm not saying obviously her specifically, but people like her, so-called on quotation marks, vegan extremists or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, people who are really trying to push people to make them vegan. Of course, you know, you can say that their oh putain, what's the word? Like cœur, their soul, their meaning, their purpose is they are trying to do a good thing.
Yeah.
But the way they are doing it is quite frankly a bit shit and pushing people away.
Yeah,
So,
I see your point. They can be annoying. They make people angry. I could see, a lot of people, they say it turns them off. Veganism.
Yes.
I didn't get it for a long time. You know, especially you have
not?
people. I didn't understand it for a long time.
Which side?
I didn't understand why they do it this way. Why they tell you to go vegan in this way.
Yes. Okay.
Especially people, you know, in front of butchers' shops, shouting and covered in blood and things like this. I never understood it. I looked into it, and the reason is to get people talking about it. These kind of things get headlines. A lot of people haven't even thought about veganism before, so it's sparking conversations. It's kind of a ripple effect. And it was
and
based
if you do
on...
something in
Go on.
Sorry, if you do something, you know, to a point where someone really pays attention to it and it really irritates them, you can get essentially that thought in someone's mind rent free, and they start getting angry about it and talk about it. Whereas instead of it just being like a passing thought that they don't care about, they start actively engaging in the topic. They start looking for other people to fight. There's been so many people who, myself and probably Rhys as well, there have been people who have funneled over from someone like that vegan teacher, or someone that's really annoyed them, and they've come along and then they've been hostile immediately because they're not happy, and it's actually meant that a really good conversation's happened. So yeah, this whole like it's not effective thing, I completely don't agree with that.
It looks like it on the surface. It looks like it's not effective, but once you understand what's going on, it surprisingly is.
Yeah, no, that sounds very effective. I can understand the idea that any publicity is good publicity, but even if it is in your mind and they think negatively of it, as a first impression, it's not the best. You know, you might think that, I mean, you know, I can definitely understand, you know, going around and shout about and make people think that you're crazy and they will think about you, but the fact that that is their first introduction to veganism, it leaves an impression, yes, but not a very good one, and certainly not one that will make you think that, oh, I should join them. Yes, because otherwise it might look
I understand what you're saying. If I'm not mistaken, maybe Ellie, you know more about this, I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken, they base this on other social movements where it was successful. So I think... Oh, go on, Ellie.
What's that, sorry? Considering?
Doing sort of, let's say, extreme stunts.
So yeah, there's been a lot of stuff that's referenced other social movements, and that, you know, but the problem is the animal rights movement has to be kind of treated a little bit differently, because a lot of the time these social movements have certain factors pertaining to the fact that they are part of that group. So, like, obviously, if you're part of a group, like, there's a lot more that's attached to it. So, say if I wanted to stand up for LGBTQ plus rights, you know, and did some activism there, it would be a more of a difficult feat and have to be treated a little bit differently as an activist, because, yeah, I'd be part of that. I'm not like, you know, a non-human animal being exploited in that sense, if that's what you were getting at, but I don't really have anything else to add. Really sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Another thing to say is people react differently to different forms of activism. So the way I speak to people now is not the way I was spoken to when I turned vegan. I was a vegetarian first, and people were telling me, you're still an animal abuser. You're still paying for cows to be killed. You're a horrible person.
Yes.
And that worked for me. I was like, well, you know what? Actually, you're right. It actually worked for me, these horrible people.
Ah, okay. Bon, bah, okay, that's fair enough. I mean, actually, in relation to vegetarians, um, do you think that it is possible to have a middle ground? Do you think that you should either be a full-on meat eater or devil worshipper or that, or or a vegan? Do you think that it is fine to be just a normal vegetarian or pescatarian?
Sure.
Or
Just as
have
an
something
aside,
some
most vegans don't think badly of meat eaters. We were all meat eaters before,
Okay, yes.
But no, I don't think there's a middle ground. You have to put yourself in the place of the animal and think, would you be okay with a middle ground there? I think people who think vegetarian is enough maybe don't understand why vegans don't eat eggs or dairy or honey.
Okay.
There is still death involved in these industries and other forms of abuse there. And it's unnecessary, you can be perfectly healthy and happy without consuming these things. So
Okay. Oh, actually, in relation to food waste, because that's obviously a massive problem, not for just the vegan world, but also, the general populace. So, it's obviously better to get a product from, say, a local farm to get local products so that you can help not. Oh, sorry,
that's okay.
I'm not the best with English. What I'm trying to say is that it is generally better to get product from a farm nearby as opposed to going to your local supermarché and getting something frozen for the freezer.
Because of
Well,
environmental
it might be
concerns,
better.
right?
It might, yeah, environmentally speaking, but to the victim, it would make no difference. Like if I stab my neighbour versus someone like up the top of Scotland, it would still be, something that's horrible equally for them both.
Okay.
The local farm as well is a very small percentage of the environmental impact.
Yeah, it's like 95+% are like all like factory farmed as well. It's not something that we could implement on a mass scale to meet the demand anyway. So
okay.
Yeah.
I do not want to take much of your time, so I just have one last question. Is that if that's okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. So for things that are taken, that are produced naturally without human, I hate H's, human intervention. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, human intervention. Yeah, we got it.
Yes, yes. So things that are produced naturally, like eggs, honey.
That's right, mate. I'm an EFL teacher. I know. It's fine.
So yes, eggs, honey, that kind of stuff. Now I know for a fact, I'm not too sure about eggs. Obviously, I'm not an egg farmer, but I know with honey that it is obviously necessary for a colony to survive with honey. That it is their natural energy source. It is literally their lifeline.
Yeah.
So a farmer will they'll have an hive of bees. They'll produce honey. They'll take just enough, obviously, so I can sell it off and whatever. But they'll keep enough honey that they know is enough for the colony, depending on the size and whatever. So personally, I mean, obviously, I'm not a vegan, so I cannot tell from your opinion. But I think that there is not much wrong with taking something that is not only produced naturally, and not like forced on the animal to make, like say, like I know with milk from cows. but actually produced normally, naturally, and also not just taking everything from them, but also leaving enough for them, and just taking some of it. I think that's personally, I don't think there's much wrong with that. It's not like they are taking everything from them; they are just taking the excess and selling it on. I mean, same with eggs as well. You know, they are not they have not got any sperm in them. They are not going to hatch into baby chicks. It's not like there's anything in there. It's literally they are just ejecting some egg yolk
So
in a little shell.
we'll start with eggs. The
Okay.
reason that we don't eat eggs is not because they could be a baby someday. They could be an animal someday. It's because of the abuse that happens to the egg-laying hen.
Okay.
They're killed at, I think, maybe less than 2 years, but they can live up to 20 years because their egg production
Okay.
declines. We've bred them to be in constant pain, pretty much. Almost all of them get osteoporosis, broken legs, broken breastbones. But aside from that, half of all chickens that are born are male. And egg-laying chickens are a different breed to meat chickens. So what
Okay.
happens to the males is on their first day of life, we gas them or grind them up alive. We kill them on the very first day. And that's the main reasons
Okay.
we don't eat eggs.
Okay.
Ellie, are you able to cover honey there?
Yeah, like, I mean, honey's like an area that I don't really. It's been a while since I've ever explored some stuff in it, but I would just say you're still taking from them. That is their food. This kind of, a lot of the time when people are talking about these kind of instances, anyway, they don't supply their honey from these instances to begin with. And as well as that, there are some concerns to do with colony collapse, but I need to explore that further. I would just say the best thing to do when we're in this kind of age of learning more and more about animals and our relationship with them is just so flawed, and we just take and take and take from them. I think the best thing to do, the next step would be just to stop any kind of grey area for now and work towards that. And yeah, just because we have alternatives available that
Yes.
anything
we could get from honey we could get elsewhere anyway. So
there is a lot of death in honey too, especially
like
industrial farmers.
Like killing the queen bee, and then they'll introduce a new one. Sometimes they don't like that new one and they'll kill them, or
to be fair, that is the bee killing them, not the farmer, but I can understand.
But the farmer is facilitating an instance that wouldn't really have happened in that way.
I mean,
if a dog fighter puts two dogs together and they're fighting, it's the dog fighter's fault for putting them, even though the dog killed the other one.
No, so what I'm saying, sorry, the farmer does kill the bees once a year, I think. They wipe out most of the hive. They artificially inseminate the queen bee, which involves crushing the males, killing them to get their sperm. I know people do think less about insects, but it's still needless. It's still death. I've just sent you a link there. This goes into a lot more explanation. If anyone's wondering, just search Earthling Ed honey. He gives a really good explanation about why vegans don't consume honey.
Okay. Are you bothered at all by the way they kill animals? So, for instance, gassing as opposed to taking them into the back shed and shooting them with a gun. Or are you not bothered? Just want to.
It's about eradicating, about doing zero. I mean, there are worse ways to kill.
Oh yes, no, obviously, yes. It is about not killing them in the first place, of course, yes. No, but do you think if it really had to be done, it does not matter how? Or
no, if it had to be done, I'd want the least pain and so on. But it doesn't have to be done. You know what I mean? Like almost every single one of us doesn't need to pay for that.
Okay. Bon, bah, thank you very much. Yes, you solved my questions. So yes, thank you.
Brilliant. Nice to meet you.
You're most welcome.
And you.
Thank you. Goodbye. So it has been 2 hours. No, wait, has it? No, wait, how long has it been? 2.5 hours.
2.5. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Started at 3:30, didn't we? So we could do a few more, couldn't we? Really? Or how are you feeling?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, my girlfriend's gonna be a bit mad at me. It's okay.
Oh wow.
We'll do 1 or 2 more.
I don't have one, so I'm all right. I might be getting in trouble today. No. Yeah, do a few more. It's just it gets a bit, you don't want to like the B12 deficiency kicks in.
That's
like,
all right. It's
oh my
midnight
God,
here,
like...
so I'm gonna get tired soon. I would imagine. I'll start saying
Okay,
stupid
yeah, we'll
things.
do a few
We'll
more.
do a couple.
Yeah, yeah, do a couple. Okay. Sorry for those waiting, but yeah, if you're low on the thing, or maybe if there's a mod listening, if you could potentially get us to be swapped out, that would be really, really cool.
Cool.
Hi.
Hey, Clayton.
Hello, Clayton.
Yeah, so I'm not vegan, but I'm just wondering, like, why did you choose to become vegan? And do you have like a lot of family that are vegan?
None of mine are, personally.
Same. I'm
and what
the
was
only
the
one.
first question? Sorry.
I said like, why did you become vegan? And are people
okay.
around you, like your family, vegan?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so no one around me is, no, but my friends are and everything. But yeah, I just couldn't see a morally relevant difference between humans and other animals that would justify exploiting and killing them. And I really made a kind of connection with that. And I upon realizing that I was within a society that actually wasn't a nation of animal lovers, didn't actually, consider their autonomy and their rights, I just decided to make that change. About you, Rhys?
Yeah, I brought it down to two sentences really. Animals don't want to be farmed or killed, and I don't need to do it to be healthy or happy. That's pretty much what it came down to for me.
Oh yeah, nice. Something else. Another question that is kind of relevant. But what are your thoughts on animal breeding, like dog breeding?
Yeah, I think it needs to stop. I think our shelters, our pounds and whatnot are absolutely ram-packed, so full of animals who need homes. We need to stop
Not only
breeding
that,
them immediately. Yeah, go
some
on.
of the breeds that we have existed in our pedigree are, they have these genetic conditions and these problems that we've, due to traits that we've bred into them, such as pugs. You can't actually really have a healthy pug. They don't live a very long life on average. They always have jaw problems, oral problems, breathing problems, spinal issues as well. It's the same with boxers have heart problems, hip problems in German Shepherds that we just bred into them. And so there's all this happening, as well as there's all these animals. Like I think there's 1 million at any given moment in the US of cats and dogs, and just the thought that every time people are buying them, that these ones they're getting killed. That's horrible. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that is because I'm moving house in a few months, and while we're there, me and my dad are going to be breeding dogs, and he's done that in the past as well, and it's obviously humane and everything, and yeah, it's like everything's done properly, but your idea of probably dog breeding is from the media.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand and witnessed it. Like
yeah.
There's a dog I know, for example, who I've seen from day one. It's inherently exploitative though. You're profiting from, their bodies and their babies. It's kind of sad anyway when you think about it, because all these babies, they go to different homes, never to see their own mums again, which is a really, like, when you think about it, like, generally speaking, in a pack, they would have not been separated. So that in itself, when I think about that, I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, I don't think it's really humane, meaning compassionate and benevolent. I don't think it's very humane, compassionate and benevolent to engage in that. And again, you're profiting from them. You're making them a commodity. And I don't think we should be doing that with sentient beings.
Okay, I respect your opinion. Alright, yeah, that was it. That's what I wanted to ask anyway. Thanks, bye.
I wonder whether we can find a different way there. Maybe it's just to get some money quickly or something. But maybe they can find a different way to do that.
Yeah, hopefully. Next person. I'm Bob.
Are you?
I am Bob, yeah. No, they're Bob. I'm Bob as well. We're all Bob.
Okay. Hi, Bob.
Are you Bob?
The only person who wasn't Bob was I'm Bob. Okay. Ellie, are you still there?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh no, wait, we had
Hello.
moved. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
can I not be on twice?
Sorry, no, we've got other people. Sorry.
No problem.
Let me. Sorry, feel bad, but yeah, we do have a considerable queue of non-vegans. So.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
So I just have a question.
Okay.
So, like me and my dad, we live out on our own farm, and we obviously supply everything ourselves. And so, how do you guys feel about like us eating eggs? Like, 'cause we take care of the chickens, obviously. We treat them like extremely humanely, and make everything, we only take what we need.
I see what you're saying. If you go to an animal sanctuary where egg-laying chickens live, they usually give them an implant so that they're not producing 300 eggs a year. They're going back to their natural, about 12 a year.
Oh yeah, we have that. We have like they don't lay a lot of eggs.
Okay. Another thing about keeping egg-laying chickens is they're using 10% of their calcium every time they lay an egg. It's 10% of their skeletal calcium, which is why they often get osteoporosis and things.
Ah.
So you've got like a backyard egg operation just for your family, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The chickens are a part of the family as well, of course.
It's like a pet situation, is it?
Kind of, yeah. We
Kind of.
take care of them as pets.
Okay.
We also have bees with honey, and we grow our own vegetables as well.
Mm-hmm. What do you do with the chickens once they stop laying so much?
We of course keep them around until they die naturally.
Okay.
And when they do, we bury them, usually.
Okay.
The thing is, in order to, even if we were to talk about this, like, we're talking about, globalizing and trying to implement these ideas. There's absolutely no way that everybody, if they wanted to have this demand, like, as much as they are horrible and they are like inefficient, factory farms, industrialized farming is the most efficient method of doing and garnering those products. So yeah, even if you could do this case, you're still taking from someone else, without that consent being there. And as well as that, this couldn't even, be something that we could, implement. So I'd really hope that you don't kind of promote that to others.
Well, I mean, we don't really promote it. It's just
Mhm.
I like the system more than buying eggs mass-produced by chickens that are unhealthy.
Certainly,
Why not
there's a
just
difference
not?
in welfare, but
Why not just not consume these products in their bodies?
Well, I like eggs.
Rhys,
I
can
know
I
that
ask you...
sounds really selfish, but
No, it's the reason everyone eats meat and eggs and milk and stuff.
Yeah,
they like
yeah.
it. It's the only reason. Rhys, what happened to the brothers of the egg-laying chickens you have?
we usually sell them off, actually.
Oh, so are you breeding them too?
Oh no, we're not breeding them intentionally. We're not like mass breeding. We just have like a small natural amount of chickens. They just kind of vibe.
But if you're selling them off, what's happening when they get sold off?
I could go ask my dad, but he's not currently home.
Because typically, a lot of the time, they're going to probably be used for breeding and then killed and
That's
eaten.
true.
I wouldn't want to, like, if I were like, I had a dog and I wanted to like give them away to somebody because I couldn't look after them. I certainly wouldn't want to give them to someone who was going to like breed them until they could no longer do so and then kill them or cook them for dinner.
Well, yeah, of course, but that's,
So
I mean, if a human doesn't fit into society, what do we do with them? We throw them into jail. I'd say
Yeah, but
selling a chicken
they've actually committed a crime and typically violated the rights of someone. So they're a guilty party, have done something wrong, and we can have criticisms of those systems that, like rehabilitation rather than punishment, but at the same time, chickens, they haven't engaged in criminality.
Yeah, that's true.
They're not a danger to us. So yeah. So we're seeing, as we kind of like look more at that situation, that there are inherent problems with them that even in the best case scenarios. So it just, if you're concerned with, the rights of others, not violating those, the best thing to do is to not, consume those products.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that makes sense.
Would you say you would have chickens if you didn't want eggs?
Yeah, they're really like comfortable to have around. They're really nice. Like, just in general, they're really gentle, I guess. Pets in general, like they're really sweet, fluffy, friendly.
I suppose you're so close to doing what I would consider the right thing. You know what I mean? To just give them a place to live out their lives. But it's just the taking their eggs part just rubs me the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like, do you offer it back to them? Like, a lot of chickens, they do eat their own eggs to regain the nutrients.
We do, in fact, give them calcium-intensive foods, or like we have stuff that's made for them.
And I mean,
like food that's made for them. So if you're saying that we're taking the eggs that they're gonna eat to regain, then we do supply them with other things that replace the eggs.
Okay, I see. Are they offered the eggs at all, though? That's what I'm saying.
I wasn't actually aware that they eat their own eggs.
No, I wasn't for a long time as well. If you leave them alone, they do, or they, I believe some chickens, if you leave the eggs, they won't lay as many. So some sanctuaries do leave eggs in there for that reason, to, protect them, I guess.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, again, they don't produce a lot of eggs, or at least we don't take a lot of eggs, so I wouldn't know for sure. I guess some of them are offered up, since we don't take all of them, or even half.
Okay. I suppose then I would just bring it back to the roosters then.
Yeah, I can see that.
And that would be my main concern with that one.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Cool.
Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for bringing that to us. Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for answering my questions.
Thank you very much. I think I'll probably head and close my stream. So I've got like loads of work to do, and I'll try and do one maybe tomorrow. Don't know about you, Rhys.
No, the reason I'm streaming today is because I can't tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be my last stream for a while tomorrow. Okay, so you can stay on? Want me to swap someone out?
I'm gonna go to bed, I think.
Oh, good idea. Okay, well, thank you ever so much. There is another stage running if you would like to see that. Yeah, it might, people watching, I'll stay on my stream for a little bit. But if you look at the link down below, there might be one in Rhys's description of the Animal Rights Advocates server where these debates are happening and discussions. Rhys, did you have anything to say? Sorry.
No, just thank you very much. If you want to speak to either of us, I suppose, after the fact, these names you see right here are our YouTube names. You can find us there. All we do is try to force people to go vegan anyway, so we'll probably be up for speaking to you.
Yeah, we'll just force you. To clarify, there is not salad in my name. I just intrinsically am a salad. That's just that's just how it is. You should change us to that. No pressure. But yeah, thank you very much for those in the stage listening. I appreciate that a lot. Sorry to those we didn't get around to. And have a lovely night. Bye, Rhys. You smell. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, Ellie. Bye, Discord.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, I think I'm out of Discord now. Just wrap it up with you guys now on YouTube. Thank you all so much for coming along. Thank you to everyone who donated today. That was so, so kind of you. I never expect a donation. I just got them turned on recently. And you lot are just so, so kind. I really appreciate your support.